Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, the AMA special, episode 350. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? It is AMA time.
Carlos Romero.
Yo, 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 yo.
And the MVP of this episode, because we ain't got no Brian, no Brett, no Adam, no Chris. So my man right here is the MVP, coming at the hottest last minute, Mr. Richard Bailey Jr.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on, Rich? I want to thank you publicly, man. Like I hit you up literally like 15 minutes ago. I was like, bro, half my guys died. Can you come on? They're not dead, by the way.
Thank you for reaching out, for sure.
You know, and I don't think you ever done an AMA with us before. So, to quote you, this is going to be very interesting. You know,
indeed it is.
Yeah, I asked Riku, but this guy's missing. He's probably playing some JRPG or something.
He's like, what you want? I won't play my games here.
Well, that's actually the original reason he left Throwdown the first time. He wanted to play more games. You know.
Yep. Yeah. Well. Literally a year. Let's see. How long ago was this? 2012 was the last of the
Riku one. So it was 2014.
Yeah,
2014.
Yeah, 2014. It's funny. I actually listened to that episode just for the hell of it, just to hear stuff. And we're literally talking about a lot of the same shit that we were talking about recently. The transition between console generations, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Talking about smart delivery and all kinds of other things. All these things that talking about at the same time.
Yeah, because 2014 is the same time as this time, basically a couple of months after the consoles dropped. So it's the same thing, you know?
Yep. So yeah, as much as things change, the more they stay the same, and we're literally complaining about how there's not enough games at the time to take advantage of and there's all these games that are on the previous generation, stuff like that.
Yeah, you already know, man. All right, so again, these are AMA questions. I'll need to actually, Carlos, you do me a favor. Just check the questions. Make sure I didn't miss any, because it's possible somebody dropped them in the last hour or something. So if you see anything new, just drop them into the document. You know.
Okay.
All right. Let's get into it. So we're gonna do it like I always like to do, a transition kind of thing, because we always encourage you to ask questions outside of gaming. But if you guys have a gaming question, we will answer the question. This is still your show. You know. So this is a good transition one from Subgata.
Mr. Gator.
All right, so his first question, let me get it up here in the Chirons. All right, his first question is, with the pandemic expediting changes in all industries, what would be a thing you would change about gaming culture? I don't know how this ties into the pandemic, but I could definitely, there's a lot of things I want to change about gaming culture for sure. You know, especially the last, and again, man, you were talking about how like 4 years ago, we're talking about this stuff. Nothing's changed in that time. Think about it like this, right? We started STFU and Play, called Shut the Fuck Up and Play. The whole impetus of that site that Torrent started was gamers spent too much time arguing on social media. They need to play their games. Almost 10 years later, nothing has changed.
Yep.
Dudes are still just bickering about that stuff. So the main thing I would change about gaming culture is I don't want to get rid of like the healthy competition between like people who own different consoles, because it was fun. I just want it to be the way it used to be back in our day. We would talk shit about this console or that console, but we still go over to the other guy's house and play it at the end of the day. Nowadays, it's like if you were to put like an Xbox in front of a PlayStation guy, they would break it or something. You know, they'd shirk around.
Like you literally put up a cross in front of a vampire.
Yeah. And I'm not going to name any names, but now there's guys calling themselves like after mythical animals and shit. I'm like, yo, what is going on with gaming right now, man? Like, this is too much. So that's the main thing I would change, like the toxicity of it. You know, it's like, get back to fun. You know, stop bickering about consoles and talk about the games you love and express your love of these games, and then find other people to either who share your passion for it or who maybe be turned on to what you like, you know? Instead of, because again, gamers make all gamers look bad, you know, like, I should say the hardcore crazy people, they make all gamers look bad, because people from the outside look at gamers like, what the fuck is up with these guys? Because who are the loudest dudes? The guys screaming, you know?
Yeah. And that's with any community.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to, people in comic fans, that used to be a thing, movie fans, all kinds of anime fans, it all is relative, but you have to sort of make sure that the positives outweigh the negatives of the community, because then the community starts to be seen as that.
Yeah. And you kind of hit it on the head. This kind of applies to all fandoms. This is not just a gaming problem. This is across the board. Where think about it, if you, for whatever reason, you had never played a video game, right? And you're just starting to, really get hardcore into video games. You go on Twitter, what are you met with? People yelling at you, Like, you'd be like, fuck this shit. I'm not going to deal with this nonsense. I'm a dip,
Yeah.
Imagine you come in there, oh, man, Mario's great. I love these Mario games. Stupid. Sonic's better, you stupid idiot. Then they try to dox you or something. It's like, yo, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, I do feel like there are parts of the community that are very open, and they really, accept the people the new people that come in. But I also think that there's also sort of that gate that happens between people, where it's like, hey, I'm just a new guy here. Don't come down on me just because I want to enjoy this stuff too, Yeah. But,
Yeah, it's bad. So, Rich, what's your answer? What would be the main thing you want to change about gaming culture?
Well, I certainly also would have added in the point about the fanboys, because that's has gotten out of hand. But I do want to add another one. And this might be a little controversial.
Uh-oh, here we go.
My opinion. Yes. The hyped up CG game trailers.
Yeah. Remember, we're talking about gaming culture specifically,
Oh, the culture.
Yeah, the culture, yeah.
Is it okay to mention the hype?
Yes, it is. Because I thought that's where you were going with this, because I'm 100% with you. Gaming, I'll let you finish, but, like, gamers need to chill with the hype. But go on, Rich.
Yeah, and that's the example that I was going to give, because I know that anytime there's an announcement of a new game, they will show a CG trailer, and everyone, well, I believe everyone on this particular show, and some of our other peers know this is not how the game is going to look.
Yes.
So, I understand people are hyped when there's an announcement, but we need to wait until we see gameplay before we actually be like, okay, I might check that out now.
Yeah, I need to add on that, because that's a great one. It's like, and it's like gamers never learn. They overhype a title to high hell. It doesn't meet their expectations. Then they get hyped for the next title. I'm like, you should have learned your lesson. Rich, I'm just going to say it's Cyberpunk, man. Cyberpunk should have taught everybody a lesson, but dudes are still getting crazy about stuff. Or, for example, a Nintendo Direct gets announced, right? Oh my God, they're gonna show this, man! They're gonna go, they go fucking crazy, right? Then it comes out that all the stuff they wanted isn't there, and then they get upset. The cycle repeats over and over and over and over again, and dudes never seem to learn. It's like, chill out with the hype. Why must everything be overhyped? And then, I don't know. Go ahead, Rich, because I got something else. I could go off on this topic alone, man.
You're probably going to say this next. I expect there to be some disappointment with the Sony show, because I've seen people writing stuff online about, I can't wait for them to reveal Metal Gear Solid Remake or Bloodborne 2.
Here we go.
Yep. Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to say next. Like, dudes, like, getting themselves hyped with, like, unrealistic expectations. And then when those things don't happen because they're unrealistic, they get upset. And then they and then they start sending fucking threats or whatever to the companies. It's like, what is going on here? Or attacking each other over it. Goes back to my other point. It's like, oh, you're not hyped for this. What the fuck's wrong with you? Just losing their minds. But yeah, hype culture. And you're right, because it is a industry problem. Like, the hype starts from somewhere. The fans are doing it too, but it's these companies as well. That's a big problem. But we're more specifically talking about the culture. But yeah, the hype is too much, man. People need to chill, but they don't learn. You get a logo, motherfuckers go crazy.
Yep. Starfield.
Yeah. Starfield got a little trailer. Rich, you talk about it. Like, what the hell are people getting hyped for?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Carlos, gaming culture, what would you change?
Man. I guess this isn't gaming culture. Because what I was going to say is the elimination of the AA game. but I don't know if that's much culture as
No, that's
just,
not really culture. That's an industry thing, you know.
I would say being complacent with with especially with a console of your choice,
Yeah.
just fanboys, they have, especially Nintendo, just to be honest. Obviously everyone does it, but when a company does something and that is, subpar, or hey, we're releasing a gaming console or a mobile gaming platform. It doesn't have voice chat. You can use your phones. That is bullshit. I'm sorry. If you're a fan of this console, I understand that they're still gonna make the games that you love. But when a company half-asses certain features that are kind of pivotal in today's day and age, it shouldn't be tolerated. And the reason why Nintendo is in their ivory tower just laughing and counting the money on all the Switch sales is because they can, because their main their main fan base doesn't put their feet on the fire. They don't they don't make them do anything. They just accept anything that's given to them by Nintendo. And I understand that a lot of that is stuff that they love, you know, like a Breath of the Wild, like Super Mario Odyssey, which Super Mario Odyssey is a game I love too. Pokemon and Smash Brothers, but there are other aspects of this thing. It's a device that can obviously do it. So yeah, obviously make sure that the culture does not allow bullshit. And we saw that recently with the PlayStation 5 or with Sony and Horizon Forbidden West.
I was just about to say that, Carlos. For a fact, if this was Nintendo, none of that would change, right? For two reasons. One, Nintendo, they're not going to change it just because they're Nintendo. And two, the fans wouldn't have complained. They would be like, yeah, that's fine. That's fantastic. That's great. You lied. That's fine. That's cool. The reason Sony changed is because people were pissed, right? And I said this on Twitter. I'm surprised I didn't get any flack for it. Real fans demand the best from their favorite companies. Fake fans just, hug the nuts. Those nut huggers, they're not real fans, bro. The real fans are the guys who demand change and the guys who get change. Because of those people like us, they change that real quick. And
I do see people.
They didn't. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Carlos.
No, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they don't need that sort of thing to overshadow the main product. If the outrage over this thing was over these stupid SKUs and junk was overshadowing the actual product, the release date of the product and the things, they don't want that shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Exactly. But yeah. No. Carlos, right. If this was Nintendo, that would not have changed at all. Think about it. Nintendo, what they sold you? What three $60 games that were all remakes. Nobody said anything. Like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. What is it? Life of Brian of Isaac. It was like what, $40-$50.
Oh, Life of Isaac. Yeah. It's like Nintendo. Yeah, exactly. You could buy.
It's something that.
Yeah. I keep cutting you off, bro. My bad. Go ahead.
I think there might be a delay that I'm not noticing. So my bad. So yeah, it's the whole Nintendo thing. And obviously, I'm harping more on them because they're the ultimate example. Is sometimes backlash can be positive.
Yes.
Look at Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite was pushed because I don't care what anybody says. It was pushed because of the backlash, and I feel like Halo Infinite, when it releases at the end of the year, is going to be a better game because of it.
Yep, I agree. I've said this a million times. If people responded positively to what we saw last year, that game would have released that year. I guarantee you that.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Carlos, I don't think there was I'm getting too hyped for this topic. I get into this shit. All right, Manny, what would you change about gaming culture?
I mean, I would agree with you on that on the thing that you said originally. I think
toxic fanboys, right?
The toxic fanboys and that part of the community is so overbearing. It literally locks out so many different people just because of how it is.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't, for me, I don't actually, I've never interacted with the larger gaming community, like on forums and stuff like that, because I just don't want to deal with that sort of stuff. There's a few times where I did actually come out and ask one question, and I just got called stupid or something like that. So I'm like, I don't need this shit.
Yeah. No, you're right. I remember, I think it was last month, Dumeke, he asked us a question about, like, does the gaming community like kind of turn you off from games? We all said no, but we understood where he was coming from, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, let's just say, again, you play Red Dead Redemption or something, right? Hyped as fuck. You love the game. You go on Twitter to talk about it. Then you got a bunch of people hating on you. Why would you want to deal with that?
Why would you want to deal with the slings and arrows of the greater community? I mean, granted, there are definitely people that will if you do sort of reach out, sometimes they'll help you, but it also feels like you have to sort of fight in the right room, and sometimes that can be even more, the right space where those type of people exist.
Yeah.
Because if you're just kind of going openly and just kind of putting it out there, a lot of times you just kind of get backlash for just saying what you want, saying what you sort of feel.
Yeah, Jay Shepsio says, in my feed every single day. I could tweet the most benign shit. There'll be hate,
I mean, I would say, there's this little, whenever one thing you should look at on your homepage at Twitter, there's a thing on here that says you can change it from see latest tweets instead to to change it to latest tweets instead, and it usually sort of filters out all the other bullshit, because sometimes that shit is being fed to you because it knows what things that you sort of look at.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, again, like, I could tweet someone, I love this game. You're stupid. Why? And I was like, what the fuck, dude? By the way, I hate those replies where, like, people are like, talking positively about the game. Well, I didn't like it because of this. Nobody asked you, bruh.
Well, no, that's not the worst one. That's not the worst one.
No, that's not the worst one. I just hate that,
Oh, yeah. Well, the example that I'm going to bring up, and Tony was the recipient of this, is saying, I love this game. It was my game of the year. And then people just respond with another game.
Every time. Or, oh, you forgot about this. No, I didn't forget. I just don't care about that game. How about that? People are crazy, man. I was talking Final Fantasy. Oh, that's what it was. I put up a thread. Not a thread. It was just, a post. I was like, I miss, I miss turn-based games. I know there are turn-based games. I just said, I like turn-based games, right? Somebody goes, so stupid. Action's better. How am I supposed to respond to that? What am I supposed to say?
That sounds like you from like over 20 years ago.
Yeah, when I was 13.
When you were 13.
Yeah, not and this is a dude. By the way, I'm not gonna say a name, but this I got this from a guy who's older than me.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I'm gonna say this: people act like children on fucking Twitter. Childish shit.
Yeah. Again, dude, there's this. I'll tell you off air, but I'm seeing some shit from dudes that are like, it should be. We're getting fucking damn, the AAEE. What's the name of that fucking card? That AA double something card.
I don't know.
Oh yeah. I know what you're saying. I know what you're trying to say, but I can't figure out what it is.
But you got retirement age dudes on Twitter acting like this, bro. It's crazy. AARP, thank you. Yeah, you got the AARP recipients with this nonsense. It is wild out there, man. All right, let's go. Next question here. All right, now we're gonna get. There's one more gaming question here somewhere, but now we're gonna get to the other stuff. Speaking about how things have changed with the pandemic, this one's more direct. I'm sure the pandemic flipped our lifestyles in some way. In what way did it change yours? Oh, deep question. All right, Rich, you're our guest here, so you could lead us off, man.
I need you to repeat that last part of the question.
Yeah, how has the pandemic changed your life?
Oh, wow. Well, that is definitely a deep question. I I would say it definitely forces you to think more so about what's important. Um, if you feel as though you have a purpose or a particular job or whatever you want to do, and you was hesitant to do that before, I think you would think a lot more about that now, seeing how everything could change up the way it did with the pandemic. So I would say for me personally, I know during the pandemic, well, prior to the pandemic, I was doing a lot of delivery driving for Uber, just food delivery stuff. Um, and that caused me to see, just to get an idea of what people go through who actually are waiters and why the tip is so important to get a tip from people. During the pandemic, I kind of slowed that down because I saw all the stuff that was happening with the COVID stuff. So, but in doing so, a lot of the jobs that I was going after became remote. So I did end up getting a remote job now, working for a company, which is great. So it definitely changed my perspective and made me think about what was more important in terms of what type of jobs I want to do and what I want to get out of this life, whether it's career or personal goals, etc.
Good stuff. All right, Manny, what about you?
Well, that's sort of an understatement.
Yeah,
How
it
did it
is.
change me?
Yeah.
I mean, not for those of you who don't know, I lost my mother during the pandemic early on when it was at its height. I contracted COVID-19 not long after going up there to try to handle her affairs. So I think the a lot of it has sort of changed me in the fact of just sort of being sort of patient with things. Not, because a lot of things weren't going to be happening right away. To this day, I still haven't been able to have a real service for her or any of that stuff, and it's just sort of just in due time, just sort of wait until the right moment, and don't be so impatient about trying to get things done because things aren't going to happen right away, and that's pretty much it. Me just sitting there, the getting like sick and sad and all that stuff. Just sort of just be patient because everything will come. Eventually things will sort of get better or things will be a lot more bearable, and that's about it for me.
Yeah, there you go. Carlos.
Um, for me, it's weird because at the beginning of 2020, it was gonna be like what I was like for me. It was like the best year of my life because well, so far at least. Because I mean, it started with New Orleans, with Tony.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
That
yeah.
shit was a fucking blast. And I'm
Yep.
like, that's just February. And I'm like, I'm good. I had plans to go to Europe. It's one of my lifelong dreams to go to Europe. And it's, something that I wanted to accomplish, and I was gonna do that. I was gonna get one of my best friends is gonna get married in Europe. So we're gonna do this whole thing. Uh, so yeah, I was gonna go to Europe, and then at the end of the year, and then I was gonna go to New York, and then at the end of the year, I was gonna go to Japan and South Korea again. So I had everything planned. Like I would talk to like friends about it. Shout out to Subgata. I would talk to Subgata about stuff to do in Japan. Um, Maybe even linking up there if he was there. But yeah, the pandemic just brought everything down. All of those plans, I bought tickets for Europe. I bought Airbnbs. I bought planes and trains and we even were gonna rent a car. And we actually rented a car, but we had to get our refund back. So there was a lot of stuff that kind of got derailed. Obviously, one of the things not being able to be with friends
Hmm.
and it still is one of the worst parts about it. I don't think I can count in my hand how many times I've seen a friend in face to face in the last year and a half. So yeah, that's been really tough. But I guess the silver lining for that for me is just since I wasn't able to do all of those things, I saved a heck of a lot of money, especially for the travel things. I've been spending less on, just buying meals. I've been spending less on gas. So I've been saving up a lot of money, and I've been, I think something that I've always kind of done this, but to a really, really small extent. I just started investing all of it.
Oh shit.
So I think that's like sort of a new passion that kind of sprung up with me in the past couple of in the past year and a half. So yeah, it's something that I didn't take that seriously before. I invested in a 401k, in a Roth IRA, but I never was an active investor in different things. So I educated myself. I started looking at companies. I started looking at alternative investments. So yeah, all of that. I've been, and obviously for the people that have been invested in the past year, everyone knows how crazy everything went up. So, it's been a crazy ride. I'm just starting on it. I hope it's something that, is something that I'm active with for the rest of my life. Hopefully I can retire early in life. So yeah, and if I retire, let's say at 50, it'll all be because of this. And a lot of great suffering, a lot of my friends, a lot of my relatives, I've lost a lot of people. And at least there have been, silver linings to this tragedy.
Yeah, stonks, baby. You already know.
Pretty much, man.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's weird because like the pandemic hasn't changed much for me, right? Like because I work from home, so none of that changed, right? The only thing that changed, and I noticed it about a month after, I'm like, oh, I'm not hanging out with people anymore. I'm not going to events. I'm like, that sucks. It wasn't until June where I started going to like Barcade with my buddies regularly. Then that ended in November when the like kind of mini second lockdown. So I didn't really like, I know some people got really introspective and shit. Like they learned stuff about myself. Like, man, everything's fine on my end. I'm like Carlos said, I saved so much fucking money. I guess that's one thing I learned. Like I learned how much money I actually spend. Because I always try to be. In my head, I'm like, I'm frugal as fuck. Apparently not. I'm like saving hundreds and dollars and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Where's all this money come from? It's because I'm not spending it. So that was like the major thing, like the money, not hanging out with friends as much. It's like you kind of have to like do all this shit. The thing and I'm gonna try not to get too deep into this. The thing I learned the most, and it's not me, it's more outside. I've always been like, I've never had a good opinion of people. I have even less of an opinion on people now, man.
Oh, shit.
I always believed, and I honestly believed that if we were invaded by aliens, humanity would come together and be one people. This has shown me that would not happen. Aliens show up, we're going to be divided as fuck. Think about it, we effectively got invaded by an alien, right? Alien virus in this case. And everybody politicized to high hell. Everybody's fucking yelling. They become children, like it's insane. So I have even less faith in humanity, which is impossible. I thought my faith in humanity was already as low as possible. So it just showed me how, like, again, there's some things I'm trying to purposely avoid, not to get too partisan here, but it's fucking sad, man, how what people devolve to. And a part of me is like, yo, can we just get a comet, restart? You know what I'm saying? Restart civilization because we fucked up, But that's the main thing I learned. It's like humans, like when I thought humans had disappointed me to the lowest possible, they've managed to disappoint me even more,
Yeah, it's sad to see that how people have just sort of gotten to this place where not seeing each other as the same beings on this planet, and literally drawing the lines in front of people, trying to say that it's their fault, it's this fault. At this point, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. It's about finding a solution, and it doesn't seem like anybody's trying to work toward anything like that. Everybody's trying to get theirs.
Yep.
So when the chips are down, it's not about unity. It's about getting what your shit is, and then running off into your corner and getting it, and making sure that whatever your little group gets is fine.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. It makes Game of Thrones more poignant. It's like they have the White Walkers about to storm the Seven Kingdoms or whatever, but nobody gives a fuck because they're busy fighting each other, you know? Or they're trying to see, oh, how can I use this strategy to my advantage, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if aliens show up, I'm going to guarantee you there's going to be people going on the alien side bickering with each other like, oh, how do I get the aliens to kill my enemies, you know? So, and it's just fucking sad, man. So that's the main thing it taught me. Well, not about myself, it's just about humanity. How pathetic of a species we are, you know. And again, I've never had a high opinion of us to begin with. Like the Earth would be better off without us. I just kill all the humans, and the planet would objectively be better without us, you know. And we've learned that. It's fucking crazy, man. People make me sick, you know. All right, and on that positive message, we'll move on to the next question.
It makes me sick.
All right. Okay, Tumeke, who's in the...
I have to add one thing to that.
Uh-oh.
I think when it comes to the greater world, I feel like people are not as united. But when it comes down to the smaller groupings, you know, the people that you know, the people within your general vicinity, maybe even neighbors, I think that's when it sorts of unity seems to happen.
Not even during this, man. I've seen shit break down.
I'm doing this based on the on what happened to me.
Yeah.
You know, I put out a you know, I wasn't you know, I was pretty much financially down at some point. I couldn't afford to to do any of the stuff that needed to be done for my mom. You know, when somebody dies in your family, you don't get that money right away. You know, if you have insurance, you got to pay that stuff out of your pocket. So I was bankrupt. I didn't have any money. So I put out a GoFundMe, and all the people that are from my following, family, friends, all donated a little something, and that helped me out. So yeah. I think the greater world can be cold and horrible and selfish. But I think when it comes to the smaller sorts of community, the people that you know, the people that you've actually interacted with, I think it's a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right about that, because I'm looking at it as a whole. It's like, look at this shit you see every day. People just bickering over nonsense. We should have been together, but this thing's just divided us even more. And it's going to get worse, man. I'm telling you right now, Yeah. But we're not going to get into that. All right. Moving on here. Tumeke, who's been joining us in the chat. All right. If you had the ability to turn on your TV and look at 3 points in time, either past or the future, what would you tune into? So here's some questions. Would you go on a religious journey and check on that Jesus dude? Would you check out dinosaurs to see if they had feathers? Would you maybe go into the future to see if how people are doing and if whatever happened to those UFO tapes? All right. Yeah. Go
to answer Tameka's question, they do have feathers.
Yeah, they do.
Well, they did have feathers.
They did, yeah.
Well, they kind of do still,
Yeah. By the way, and this is kind of I kind of go with it because like extinction means when a species goes extinct, right? No more of them, right?
Yeah.
Technically, dinosaurs haven't gone extinct.
They evolved.
Yeah. So like even scientists are like, yeah, we don't think they're extinct because they're literally flying over our heads. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but
literally and figuratively.
yeah, exactly. But if you do, there are fossils with feathers on them, so that's not really a question. I'm glad you said that. For me, first thing I would do is I would tune in 1,000 years. Let's see if we made it. Let's see if we fucking made it. I don't even know if we're gonna live past the next 50 years, let alone the 1,000. So I would do that, just see what's going on. I want to go some distant shit. Like maybe 10,000 years ago, like seeing dudes make fire for the first time or something. Like I want to see who was the first, because think about it, it wasn't humans that first made fire. It was one of our ancestors before that, like Australopithecus or something. This motherfucker's smashing rocks. Oh shit, look at that. Yo, don't get scared of it. It's cool. Could you imagine being the first ape that made fire for his boys? They're all fucking scared and shit. Like, yo, my man, it's cool. It's cool. And check this shit out. Takes out a piece of meat, dangles it. They're like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You're ruining it. Like, yo, wait, bro. with about like 10 minutes, rare, that's how real motherfuckers ate it,
And then the natural evolution, the sazon.
Yeah, sazon, Yeah, you don't one of us rolled up in there somehow. Hey, you want to eat some of this? And I also want to see, and this is not one day, obviously, it's like a span of something. I want to see the formation of the solar system, That would be fucking dope, too. All right, so that's my 3. What about you, Carlos?
That's a really good question because it does encompass a lot of things and even a condensed version of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I kind of thinking what Tony said, like what Tony you just said about the solar system, kind of intrigued me, but more, more small-minded in Pangea, just the way how it looked back then, and then how it just separated and became continents.
Yeah. For you guys who don't know, Pangea is the supercontinent that Earth had at one point.
Mm-hmm. That would be one of them. I think I have to go with the future one. So Tony said 1,000 years. I'll go with 2,000 years. Just to see who their version of Jesus is going to be. Is it going to be? Is it going to be?
It's going to be me.
Tony.
A Polancoist or whatever.
Yeah. The church of the latter Tony Polancos.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's gonna be sex fighting each other and shit,
But shout out to Barry Burton.
It'll be Phil Spencer.
It'll be Phil Spencer. Yeah. Game Pass, man. Game Pass
right?
conquered. That was a covenant. I think another one would be the time of the Olmecs. Just to see who they were, because there's a lot of debate. For those that don't know, Olmecs is a civilization that happened in Mexico, in modern day Mexico, thousands of years ago. That we don't really know much about them, except the fact that they did like huge ass statues of their heads. So we see those, and their heads is pretty interesting because they don't really look like Native American features. They a lot of people say they have African looking features. A lot of people say they have Polynesian looking features. So I'd just be interested, how that civilization was. Maybe they were African. Who knows? So yeah, it'll just be interesting to see that.
Good stuff. All right, Rich, 3 points in history, past or future.
I think I'm gonna also have to go into the future because I want to see if we ever get hoverboards and flying cars, and then see all this stuff in all these movies. I want to see, is this actually going to happen?
Yeah, for real. All right, 2 more. You got 2 more.
Let me see. He said past
or future.
Or future.
Yeah. If you need time, we can come back to you.
Y'all had said some good ones.
Yeah.
I think the solar system one is definitely interesting. I would be curious to see if you're going into the future, just to get an idea how technology evolves, how things change in terms of the world, how people use different types of devices, so on and so forth.
Well, something that we will know for sure is that in the 3120, Nintendo won't have voice chat on their system.
Oh, Hey, yo, Carlos, I want to go 20 years in the future, see if the Song of Ice and Fire books actually came out or not.
Or maybe they will. It's just Sanderson completing.
Oh yeah, Sanderson will finish up. Oh man! All right, Manny, what you got? 3 things.
Probably the past within my own family. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of mystery as to where people in my family came from. Some of the real stories as to events that have happened, rather than just hearsay through other people, sort of just seeing what events caused what, whether that be painful of things that have happened or things that have, were good. It'd be interesting to tell, to see. Probably also the future. I mean, I don't exactly know how far in the future it would be, but maybe general, above, beyond the amount of time that I'll actually exist, right?
Your lifetime.
My lifetime, right? See if we were able to sort of get past our, as we talked about before, our petty differences, and sort of see where we sort of go. Are we going to still be stuck in this, primitive way of thinking, or have we finally decided to really unite and do something with ourselves, as opposed to, usher in a future rather than the sort of world of greed. Probably. I would like to actually, it's weird. I'd also like to see some of the great mysteries of the past, right? You see all these ruins and things all over the place. I don't exactly know what. I can't name one.
I just thought of two as you were saying that. I want to see, because this is a big mystery. I want to see how they built the pyramids. I want to see how they built Stonehenge.
Yeah, the pyramids, Stonehenge, and I'd love to see. Again, I'll go back to Carlos. So go to South America and see how they constructed those shits. Maybe maybe see the Library of Alexandria. The pinnacle of human knowledge that got destroyed.
Or see the Pompeii, and so we don't need that. Never mind. Loki already covered that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, that's a good one. I got more answers, but we got to move on.
I got a final one.
All right.
I got a final one. Just put a fucking camera on the Denisovan cave in for 1,000 years. And
yeah, exactly. See what happens. I also want to see if panspermia was real. Like, did life come from Mars? When the solar system was being formed, because that could be a thing. It's like rocks smash into Mars, and then bam, this shit comes over here. Well,
yeah. One of the biggest theories is that life. It's possible that life could have come from an asteroid.
Could have. Yeah.
There are examples of life surviving within the depths of space.
Yeah, well, think about it like this, right?
The conditions.
Yeah, there's conditions. No, I forgot who said it, but they were like, okay, why would life on this planet that has always been on this planet have the means to survive in space? So the theory is like, yeah, because it came from space. That's why,
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. I'm like, yeah, like, if some organisms, it's like they have the ability to survive in space. Why would you need that if you're a terrestrial, like evolved from terrestrial life? Nah, it probably came from out there. That's what I think,
What is it? What is all those the friggin' microscopic bears? What do they call those things?
Oh yeah, I know.
The tardigrades. The tardigrades.
Yep. And it's not even like it has to be fully formed life. It's just those asteroids could have like the key ingredients that mix whatever's on the planet to get life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people are gonna, you mean like somebody got it? No, none of that. It's just naturally occurring shit. All right. Good stuff, man. Moving on here. Oh, hold on. I gotta set up the next question. This one is, it's also by games.
Yo, man, what's these games?
This one may be controversial, though, Richard.
Uh-oh.
I'll ask the question. I'll get the cat on up. They're also from To Make It. Man. I'll ask the short version of it first. What is the worst instance of representation in games? Oh boy!
Damn!
But I got to read it.
Maybe you're trying to get us in trouble.
Yeah, but I got to read what he says because my man is keeping it real. Because remember, he's from New Zealand, right? And there have been some not so favorable depictions of his people. All right, so he goes game related, but this one pisses me off. What has been the worst representation of your culture and country in gaming or movies? All right. New Zealand people have been badly represented many times in both liberal use of Tamoko. Forgive me if I said that wrong. Liberal use of Tamoko because it looks cool, forgetting its cultural significance is one example. Ender's Game is another example. Ben Kingsley did the worst impression of a Maori. The latest is Call of Duty Vanguard. One character, Lucas Riggs, is based on a Kiwi war hero, Charles Upham. I don't know if I said his name right. The only person to ever win 2 Victoria Crosses. Problem is they have him as an Australian. We love our Aussie neighbors, but we are also fiercely competitive. This is a real slap in the face. They can keep Russell Crowe, but they can't have our heroes. Oh man, so yeah, what's been like a horrible representation of your culture or country in a movie or a game.
You know,
Oh,
it's funny.
man.
It's funny when it comes, at least for me, and I feel like a lot of at least Hispanic people. Like, I feel a lot of times we sort of accept that people are gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, we're used
And we
to
sort
it,
of,
you know.
we're sort of like, you know, I guess it's close enough. You know, like I mean, like I don't like when you see like, you know, what used to it even happens to this day when you have like a whole total white guy going, "Hey, I'm a Hispanic person. Hey, what's going on?" He, like fucking friggin'
Scarface,
De Niro, Scarface, like the worst
Pacino,
fucking
yeah.
You know, but you know, yeah, Pacino in Scarface worst, or him in
Carlito's Way.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's horrible, but I mean, at the same time, I don't get too angry about it because
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, at least they did bother to put somebody in there. So I never been bugged too badly about it. I do have to call into question, you know, the platform that we're currently in. Twitch. I have to call them out as far as representation because they apparently thought every single Hispanic person on this planet is Mexican.
Yeah, that
is
pissed
true.
me off. You know,
Which is true.
it's only true if you're in California. You know,
I'm gonna say this.
That's how white people see it. It's like all Hispanics are Mexicans in California, all Puerto Ricans are in the Northeast, and all Cubans are in Florida,
in Miami.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing about it is like I can sort of understand why they might think that because out of the Hispanic people within the United States,
it's Mexicans. Yeah,
Mexican. You will find in shitty little rural towns. People have probably met a Mexican more times than they've ever met a Puerto Rican person or a Dominican person or Cuban person. So I can understand it on that end, but at the same time, not doing your research, not going out there and trying to figure out that the Hispanic culture is wide and varied.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, dude, like not all of us rock fucking sombreros and Moroccos and shit.
There may be similarities with the music. You know, a lot of people listen to merengue, bachata, listen to all that sort of stuff that, or salsa music. Yes, there's those sorts of similarities, but those are like a very small portion of it.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I would have to call out.
You know
Twitch
what? That's my answer to Twitch. Twitch fucked up. That pissed me off, man. You know?
Yeah, it's and to be honest, it's like if we're supposedly going to go to because it's coming up again.
Yeah, it is
September. What is it? When is it?
No, it's the whole month. It's a whole Spanish Heritage Month.
Hispanic Heritage Month is coming up again. So, folks, you got to maybe take a little time and think about that. But as far as games and movies, I sort of just accept it.
Like I was just happy when they had Dominicans in GTA Ballad of Gay Tony. That was great,
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, some of the stuff could be seen as like stereotypical. Like, no, we do that shit. There's some.
I can't remember the most prominent Puerto Rican character in something, but I mean, usually, it's pretty.
Something from the West Side Story or something like that.
Oh well, yeah, West Side Story. They're all a bunch of white guys in brown face. I'm like, you know what? It's cool.
Yeah.
At least they're doing it. I mean, that's just why I sort of get it.
Yeah, like
I mean,
go ahead.
Or in spaghetti westerns, all the Mexicans are Italians.
Yeah, they're all exactly.
Oh yeah, well because it was filmed in Italy.
Yeah.
That's all they got over there. But yeah, it's never sort of bugged me that badly. I do find it when places sort of overdo it. It gets a little sickening.
You mean like Miles Morales? Manny, how many Puerto Rican flags do you have in your house?
Yeah, I found Miles Morales kind of like the Disneyland version of being Hispanic. Like if you
he's right though.
You know what you mean? Like when you go to the one area of Epcot, and it's like the Germantown. It's overly German.
Yeah.
Where it's like everybody's wearing lederhosen and fucking clogs on their feet. Yeah, it's like that. It's kind of like that. So while I appreciate Miles Morales going into that sort of stuff, but Spanish Harlem is not that is not that Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And they apparently just forgot about all the other people that live in Spanish Harlem.
Yep.
You know, because there's a Mexican community there. There's a big Dominican community over there. So what?
Again, if you're in New York, you know, to white people, every Hispanic is a Puerto Rican. That's just how it is.
So we're all dancing in the streets. It's
snow.
We're dancing in the streets in the snow, doing salsa. No, I mean, no, man, that ain't happening.
Yeah. No. To make it, Manny just said it right. That was Disneyland version of Spanish Harlem. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's Disneyland version of Spanish Harlem.
Yeah.
It's like it's so thick that it's fake. That's the stuff that sort of bugs me a little bit.
And nothing that was more fake than Miles Morales' accent.
His accent is terrible.
Yeah.
Mommy, take hero.
That's you know what? You want to talk about bad representation of Hispanics? That's the one that I have an issue with. When you've hired, let's say you've hired white guy actor, white woman actor, they're doing the Hispanic accent, but when they actually speak fucking Spanish, and it is the worst pronunciation you've ever heard on the planet.
The first time I saw that was in the first Uncharted game. They had one character that was like Hispanic, right? And he sounded authentic, right? His accent. As soon as he dropped a single Spanish word, you're like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you know, it's funny because we say that Miles Morales' accent, you know, in the game is actually bad. But in the movie,
the Spider-Verse is fine. Yeah.
Spider-Verse, and that kid is not Hispanic at all playing
He's just
that
black,
role.
right?
Yeah. He's just black. So he went in and he went with his coach who taught him how to roll his R's properly. You know, and I was like, all right, homie knows how to speak some decent Spanish.
You know. All right, Carlos, I know you got to have some answers for this one, bro.
Oh no, yeah, it's they're all just the same generalization of the same thing. You know, wearing the poncho, wearing the sombrero, drinking in a desert. Mm-hmm. It's just it's all part of the same stereotype. Yeah, I don't think there's more to go into than that. I think it's pretty obvious. I'm trying to think of what's the worst like representation. Like I don't know if we have the equivalent of what's the Japanese the dude the comedian playing the Japanese dude in the Breakfast at Tiffany's. What's his name? Mickey Rooney, that Mickey Rooney one.
Shit. I don't. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird because I don't think Hispanic culture has ever really had that bad.
Yeah, that bad.
As far as somebody playing a role.
Yeah, that's bad. Like it's so bad. I'm not even going to do an impersonation of that. But that was brutal. Yeah.
You know the weirdest thing about when they do that sort of stuff, when they always have like the white guy playing, you know, like the prominent white person playing whatever role, Asian, you know, whatever race role that is. You ever notice that you look around them and everybody else is actually that race, except for that one person? So like if you go to like, you know, we're talking about Shang-Chi and all that sort of stuff. So Christopher Lee played Shang-Chi's dad. Like he played the character Fu Manchu from that they licensed to make his dad in the comics.
Okay.
That guy's like the worst racist stereotype that has ever been created of an Asian person. Like evil scientists trying to take over the world. Anyway, but you look next to Christopher Lee, who's playing that role, and it's all a bunch of Chinese people. And you're thinking, they're probably thinking, this motherfucker here.
Yeah, right.
What the fuck is he doing here? I should be sitting there.
Oh man. All right, Rich, worst representations that you've seen of black people in media.
Oh man,
you have a lot to pull from, my friend.
This is there's a lot that could be said on this. You're talking about just about video games in particular?
No, I mean, video games or movies, but you can take it wherever you want. Yeah, you can take it wherever you want. But yeah, just to keep it focused, gaming, I guess you could do that. We've seen some bad ones. Wasn't there this like Mammy type of character in like Deus Ex? The first one, like people were like, "What the fuck? Why is she talking like a Tom and Jerry character?" You know?
Oh yeah. That's a very good one. I will admit that I was not really a fan of the Coltrane character from the very beginning in Gears of War.
Oh yeah.
I think they tried to do a little bit more with the character, so it's not as bad. But that first game, that was loud, rambunctious character, because they say black people are always loud and all types of other stuff. Man, it's really tough because there are a couple of characters that that have been in gaming over the last couple of years that I actually like Lee Everett in The Walking Dead. That's a great example of good representation. I haven't seen too many that were negative, or either that, or I can't really think off the top of my head specifically. I would say Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Some of the stuff in there was, you can say, questionable, but the game is good, so it's hard for me to say that's just completely horrible representation. I think for now, Coltrane is the one that I think I had the most issues with.
Yeah, Coltrane could get pretty thick, like you said. It's the Coltrane, It is crazy.
Yeah.
All right, that was good. That was a good question. All right, moving on here. Mob hits. Very interesting question. Some of us may not remember some of this, bruh, but here we go. All right. How was your first experience using a VHS player, DVD player, or streaming a movie? What were the first things you watched on each of those?
Well, I mean, Star Wars was, for VHS and stuff like that. E.T. Me and my mom had a lot of tapes. We used to like to go to we like to go to the movies. We liked going to see movies. So I remember sort of that sort of era of, the original VHS, and also my dad who had the Betamax tapes. So watching Indiana Jones and all that sort of stuff. I know one thing they used to never do, like at least because I was so young at the time, they never used to let me stick the tape inside of the machine because back in those days, at least the Betamax used to have that really cool looking elevator thing that used to, come up and then you stick the tape in and you come back down, or the VHS, you used to actually suck the tape in and all that stuff. It's sort of mesmerizing seeing that thing sort of do it by itself. But obviously, you're a kid, you probably want to, they think you're going to want to stick all kinds of other things in there and see if they go in by themselves, right? So yeah, that's my memory on the VCR. DVD, I mean, that was, I remember me and Tony we're all about DVDs. We literally bought our fucking DVD players. It was The Wiz. Yeah.
We bought them on the same day. But they were like $300. It was a lot of money.
Yeah, it was a lot of money. But I mean, granted, I'll tell you that DVD player lasted a long time. The one that we bought.
Yeah, it did. As a matter of fact, it was because of that one when I bought a PS2. I'm like, no, I'm not using my PS2 to play movies because I paid $300 for this shit. That's the movie player.
That's same thing with me. I didn't use my PS2 to do any sort of DVD because me and Tony had our DVD players. We were like, fuck it. We used the like on the Star Wars episode 1. They used to have the THX
the calibration
system. So we're used to
man.
Get that thing all right and nice, and your shit looked really good. Got your blacks to a good level, all that good stuff. Just buying a lot of that stuff, buying a lot of kind of replacing old things.
Yeah, replacing all the tapes and stuff.
Yeah, because like I had Terminator 2 on tape, and then they released like the crazy Laserdisc version that they did and put it onto DVD. And then that's the one where you could literally type in the Day of Judgment Day and get like an alternate version of the movie, which had like additional scenes of the T-1000, like, touching the walls and all that other shit. Like, more of him breaking down later on in the game. The movie. So there was that. And then what was the last one? Streaming media?
Yeah, it was streaming movies.
I mean, it's funny. You skip Blu-ray, yo. What about that?
He didn't put it in there.
You didn't put no Blu-ray. I mean, streaming is it is what it is. It's always sort of been there. I mean, it's not like somebody opened the door and all of a sudden, no, you know what I mean? Because like we already been streaming stuff since. When did YouTube start? When did like Buy TMND start?
It's like, that's right.
It was always that streaming sort of stuff has already sort of been around. So it's just more like, hey, look, it's a version of YouTube or whatever to sort of watch. That has actual movies on it instead of goofy, angry content or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to add. Yeah, when it comes to VCR, it was just kind of always there, right?
Yeah.
So it was just like oh my god, I got a VCR. It was always there. But the thing I want to talk about is all the tapes me and Manny made of video games. Like
I still have those, by the way.
Nice. Yeah, I got some too. We used to make compilations of cutscenes and stuff. Fighting games and all these other games and stuff.
So here's the thing, back in modern days, you can't. You can continue where you used to be able to leave off, right?
Yeah.
But it's a big deal back in the day when you couldn't save and you got the ending of your game.
Yeah, exactly.
So what did you do? What did we do?
Well, we made tapes.
We recorded the ending to the thing because what are the chances of us seeing it ever again? And do we really want to play that game over again and get the ending?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then the editing we had to do is like get the frames right. Like it was crazy,
Yeah, Tony was really specific on editing, on how to edit with the pause button, especially if you had what's like a 3-head VCR. Was it?
Yeah, I think it was 3-head. Yeah,
it was like a 3-head VCR. So literally, you could actually get really good edits if you paused it at the right point. And what we used to do is you used to wait until it was black on the screen.
Yeah,
and then that's when you paused it. You wait for it to go through, and then boom, you start it back up.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of tapes, even with like shows that Tony's done.
Yeah, I had a lot of tapes. Yeah, of shows
like he'll literally clip out the commercials.
Yep. So yeah, man, I was doing my own thing back in the day. Yeah, VCRs were fun, but yeah, you're right. When we got the DVD player, then it was like, all right, time to upgrade all the movies that we bought.
Yeah.
And then I know he didn't mention, but yeah, with Blu-ray, that's when I noticed. I'm like, okay, I'm buying all these movies. I'm not watching them. Let me just stop. And then I just, that's when I stopped watching movies at home in general. I started just watching them in theaters. And then streaming stuff, I watch them, I watch them, but it's not like it was a grand revelation because you're right. It's like we had already been streaming shit for years. So by the time like movies started being streamed, it's like, wasn't a big deal.
I feel like during the tape era, the VCR era, and the DVD era is where most of my accumulation of movies and animation and stuff has sort of come. I noticed as I gotten older, it's sort of slowed down, and I'm way more selective as to. And I also think that a lot of the shit that you see right now, it's not even worth watching over again.
It isn't.
I'm sorry, like I feel like there's a really big difference between just to use the Marvel movies as an example. I see them once and I just don't ever want to see them again. I feel like the older ones are a little bit more conducive to watching, and like watching that first Avengers movie ever again, or watching the first Iron Man again. I could watch those again.
Yeah,
but I don't know about the more.
You're right about that. Like the later Marvel movies, I only watched once. I've like all the Phase 1 movies I've seen multiple times. I would say the first quarter of Phase 2 I've seen multiple times, but then after that I only seen them once and that was it.
Yeah, sort of like I saw Guardians of the Galaxy multiple times.
Yeah, I've only seen it once.
Guardians 2, I just sort of like, okay.
Oh, that was kind of a movie too. So
it was not. Yeah, it was not.
Yeah, Guardians.
But I'll tell you, Suicide Squad. That's one I want to own on Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's a fun movie.
That's a fun movie. That's the one I would want to watch again.
Yeah.
Yo, man, shout out to the Polka Dot.
The Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
not Suicide Squad.
Yeah. James Gunn does Suicide Squad.
Gunn, yeah, exactly. Yeah, James Gunn, man, good stuff.
So what was it?
Oh no, that was it. You answered.
I was gonna say the big thing about also the tape VCR and the DVD stuff is like I bought lots of like me and Tony used to do a lot of anime on there. Like we used to get like bootlegs of anime that were going on. Like
we watched Dragon Ball Z before they even aired this shit here.
You motherfuckers were like, man, I get to see Dragon Ball Z on Saturday morning on the Cartoon Network or on WPIX channel 11. Right? We saw all that shit years before all that shit was on.
We were already on that.
Dragon Ball Z was at GT at the time that you were already watching the Frieza saga.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. So we were on that shit.
And we saw all that stuff. We saw all the movies. It was Amazing Dragon Fist and the first movie, Garlic Jr., all that stuff.
Janemba, all that, man.
The one good thing that came out of all of that is that we actually got good copies of all that shit because
we did.
we had like fan subbed blurry like 1,000 copied versions of the anime and stuff.
Yeah, that was the other thing about the tapes. Like anime was crazy, man. Like we got a lot of anime with those tapes, But then it went even crazier with DVDs though, because they were just so more readily available, Mm-hmm. Yeah, these motherfuckers don't know, man.
They don't know.
Right. By the way,
Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos. By the way, do you even know what a VHS player is?
I have a VH player right now.
Excuse me?
Whoa!
Oh yeah. I mean, VHS is the format that I was born into.
Mm-hmm.
So it's essentially the first one. I mean, I didn't delve into Laserdisc or any of that stuff. But
neither did we.
No, that was too expensive.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, VHS. I still have some of my VHS tapes. I have. I used to be a fan because bear in mind I was super young. I used to collect the Disney movies.
Mm-hmm.
There was like
that's right.
Disney Vault kind
when
of
I was gonna say they came out of the vault. You got to buy them.
Yep, I still have those.
Oh shit.
Yes, and it was the golden age of Disney animated movies. It was like with Lion King
in the '90s,
Aladdin, and all those. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast. All those were pretty good movies. Hercules, but yeah, that's VHS. DVDs. I think the first DVD I ever owned, and I'm pretty sure it is The Matrix.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones. That was one of the yeah. For me, it was The Matrix, Gladiator, and Perfect Blue. Those were like my first 3 movies. Perfect Blue, I bought it just on the humbug. I was like, hey, it's on Amazon. Amazon was actually back then, I was like,
no, was it CD Universe that we used to? I remember we used to do it through CD Universe because it was like cheaper.
Yeah, no, but that one I did specifically get from Amazon. It was like a highlight anime. It had just come out.
Another crazy thing about Amazon is that we also remember a time when Amazon wasn't actually didn't sell anything but books.
Yeah,
I remember when they started selling actual stuff. They're like, wait, they sell more than books?
Yeah. I remember fucking Amazon. I ordered Shenmue. I'm talking about Shenmue, right? Like 2 weeks shit to get here, Ridiculous.
Shenmue 2.
No, Shenmue. Shenmue 2 never came out here. For Dreamcast. It came out on Xbox. I'm talking about the first Shenmue in 2000. I bought that shit on Amazon. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, Amazon was actually around back then.
Well, because I could have sworn I bought that at like GameStop or something like that. I pre-ordered it or something.
Yeah, you did, but I got it off of whatchamacallit? I got it off of Amazon. I was like, hey, let's try this stuff. Yeah. Anyway, Rich, what stories do you have with VCRs and DVD players?
Well, VCRs. I know when I was younger and I did not know any better, I would always try to put a lot of stuff in the VCR player.
Yes.
As a result of that, I know I broke a couple of VCRs in the past.
So your parents didn't want you and not make you not want to touch the thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they didn't want me to touch that. I know with the DVD players, there is a story that I do remember because I know y'all mentioned that y'all used to, you got the anime and you did all you made different cuts and stuff, added stuff to videos.
Yeah.
Back in the day, which isn't really that long, I remember one of the first DVDs that I got was it's a DVD that I was not supposed to get.
Uh-oh.
It was the we're not going to go in that direction. So
it's not like La Blue Girl or what was the other one? Legend of the Overfiend
he's talking about the stuff that you get in the back of the DVD store. Behind the curtains.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole other story by itself.
Carlos, I still got that tape, by the way.
But one of the DVDs that I first remember that I purchased was, I was a huge fan of Spawn,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you remember the HBO animated series.
Keith David. Yep.
Yes. My director on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles actually directed that show and won the Emmy for it.
See?
Yep.
That's awesome. So when I went to go get that DVD, I remember specifically my parents said they didn't know, they figured this is just a regular cartoon. It's nothing, no violence, no. But but I knew what it was, and I told them, no, it's fine. I can totally watch this. There's nothing wrong with it. And then I watched it, and they happened to pass by and see that I was watching it, and so I got in trouble about that, of course.
So you didn't have it. You didn't have HBO when you were younger, did you?
Oh no. We tried to not spend too much on cable because the cable is probably not as expensive as it. I mean, it's more expensive now than it was back in the day. But they just didn't want to spend it because they always keep showing the same movies and stuff on there. So I specifically, because I always used to go to New England Comics because I was huge into comics when I was younger, and that's how I found out about they have an animated series. I need to see that. So that was how I was able to obtain the DVD. But we got in trouble about that later when they found out. Wait a second, they got cussing and swearing and sex and violence. You ain't supposed to be watching this.
Oh man, that's wild.
I remember me and Tony used to watch that show.
Yeah, we used to watch it all the time with our boy Mike.
Yep.
Yeah, well, good stuff. That was a great show.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. All right, good stuff. Move on here. Next question. This one is from. Another one from Mob Hits, but sponsored by someone who's not with us tonight.
Whoa,
Mr. Drunk Demon, aka Brian. All right. Wait, did I skip the question here? Yeah, I did skip a question. Oh, my bad. We'll go to the next one. This is still Mob Hits though. Okay. As you know, the first MCU X-Men movie might be right around the corner. Which heroes and villains do you want to see in it?
I mean, I want to see I want to see who they got for the usual suspects. To be honest, I also don't want Wolverine to be in it, but that's controversial.
Yeah, you already know he's going to be in it.
They're going to put him in it because that was my biggest disappointment with the original X-Men movie, that they actually had Wolverine in it, because all it did was they just fell into the stupid roles that they had from the modern comic, which was a little bit. I wanted to see classic X-Men, Beast, Iceman, and Jean Grey, or Marvel Girl, and Cyclops, and just those characters, and develop those guys, and then work your way to Wolverine and Storm and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But that's all. I'm simple. I don't need to see no Wolverine. I just want to see the classic crew. Charles Xavier, whoever they get for Charles Xavier, if they manage to get James McAvoy to come back or whatever, who are they going to do? So I would like to see those guys.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to just see they're not going to do this, but I want them to start with my favorite team, which is giant size X-Men. Storm, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Colossus. Okay. I mean, even have like Thunderbird in it, let him get killed off. Banshee, get him in there. Sunspot. Right, like those classic dudes, and fucking throw them on Krakoa. Like, I would like to just do an adaptation of that giant size X-Men. I think that'd be pretty cool. And also, what you could do with that is sneak in like, oh, there were other X-Men beforehand, and we got to rescue these motherfuckers. Because that's what happened. The original 5 were on Krakoa. So that's what I would like. And I want to see a good depiction of Apocalypse, who was my favorite X-Men villain. Very trashy. I think it was Oscar Isaac, believe it or not. I was like, yo, my man, no, this ain't it, So yeah, so I want the team to be the classic 1970s, Chris Claremont, Dave Cockrum team. That's what I want to see. Rich, what about you? Big comic fan, obviously. Who do you want to see in the X-Men movie?
So I would say that I totally understand what Manny said about no Wolverine for now. I don't have any issues with that. I guess I would like to see some other characters that we really haven't seen too much of in the actual movies. perhaps Bishop.
Ooh.
You know, I know we've seen Cable, of course, in a couple of movies. Yeah, I would love to see Bishop. In terms of other villains, other heroes, other villains. I mean, there's a ton that I could think of that we haven't really had a chance to really see on the big screen.
Imagine if they have Mojo.
Mojo.
The thing with Mojo is, and even though I don't like a lot of modern comics, the take they have on him is interesting because now Mojo World's all streaming. It's all about clicks and hits and shit. So that could actually be more for the modern world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously you got to have the classic Magneto in there and all that other stuff. Carlos, what about you, X-Men?
Yeah, Magneto and Xavier should be there because they're on the crux of everything.
Yeah.
I think Jean Grey, the usual suspects, Cyclops, Storm. I think they all should be there. Nightcrawler will be cool. And what's his name? Boner.
Boner.
What was his name?
Ralph Boner.
Yeah, the dude that showed up on WandaVision.
Oh, Quicksilver.
Yeah, Quicksilver. They named him Boner in the show.
It's hilarious. Oh man. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
One last one. I want to see them redo Apocalypse the correct way.
Yes.
I'm a fan of Oscar Isaacs as an actor, but I did not like the way that Fox did Apocalypse in their version of X-Men. So yeah, I would like to see a proper Apocalypse that I remember.
Dude, I've been saying for years, this even before I got into this industry, they need to get Christopher Judge to be Apocalypse. The guy already looks like it, you know?
Gonna cancel the Apocalypse.
Christopher Judge, you know.
Yeah, Kratos.
Kratos.
You know? Get him, you know? Modern Kratos, not T.C. Carson. You know?
T.C. Carson, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, right? Imagine that.
He'd be like, living single in this brand new kind of world.
Oh, man. All right, man. Move on. All right, this is the bonus question. Who is your favorite live band or your favorite band to see live?
Oh. Man, me and Tony have seen so many.
We've seen so many. This is a hard one. I've been thinking about this all night. Damn.
I would say Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's an easy one, but it's true. You know,
Judas Priest. They're a fucking amazing band live. King Diamond.
Yeah, that was a show.
He puts on a really cool show. Like lots of cool looking. It's like lots of cool looking like sets and things that he's got on. Like last time we saw him, he had like a friggin' insane asylum on the stage. It was pretty cool. I mean, all right. Well, not rest in peace, but I have to say, Iced Earth is a really good band live, but we'll never ever see those guys again.
Yeah, they're done. Symphony X is always a good one to see live.
Symphony X is a really good band live.
Who else? Again, we've seen so many bands, and a lot of them.
Dream Theater is also a really great live band.
I like Joe Satriani live. He's fun.
Joe Satriani. I mean, the crew of the what is it? The G3 crew.
G3, yeah.
With
did you guys?
Oh, go ahead.
Did you guys ever see Pantera live?
Oh yeah, we saw it. Yeah,
we have.
Yeah,
before Dimebag died.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
they've actually.
Correction. They've never toured without him. Like the band broke up long before he died. You know.
Yeah. So we saw him and we saw them and we saw the two bands that they sort of got that came from them.
Yeah, Damage Plan and there was, I forgot the name of the other one, but yeah, the split off bands. We saw them too.
Yeah, we saw those two.
We could go on all night. Fear Factory.
Fear Factory is also a really great band live. Well, Not always.
Not always. Sometimes that's true.
It depends on when Burton C. Bell wants to sing properly.
Manny, you want to do real R.I.P. Dio? That was always great.
Oh, Dio, Dio. We saw so many times.
Yeah.
We're actually on the DVD.
Yeah, we are.
For was it Killing the Dragon and what's the other one?
I forget.
Well, we're on 3. We're on 3 DVDs.
Are we? I thought we were only on 1.
We're on the Killing the Dragon one. We're on the one where he did the classic run. Yeah. It was Holy Diver. We did that one.
Yeah, and this was Heaven and Hell. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in Heaven and Hell DVD as well.
Yeah, we saw.
You actually get to see my hand at one point at the end of the thing.
That's my hand. Fun.
That's my hand.
Yeah. Right. Manny and I have just go to the same concert, so my answers are his. All right.
Michael Jackson's also pretty damn good.
Yeah, I've never seen him live.
I saw him when I was young. So.
Yeah. All right. Rich, what are some of your favorite bands or performers to see live? Mr. Richard Bailey Jr. Oh, he's muted right now. All right, maybe he's taking a break. All right, Carlos, you go. Oh wait, Rich is back. There he is.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't realize I was still muted.
Uh-oh.
Okay. There are a lot. Okay, the Roots are pretty good live. Oh. I've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
Prince
yes, too.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
What's it?
Which one? Say that again. The last one.
Prince.
Oh, Prince. Oh shit. Okay.
Oh,
one of his shows.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I'm still thinking of a few others. So go to Carlos and I may chime in after.
All right, Carlos, go ahead, man. Like Riku, you got to clear your throat.
Well.
Well, I think my favorite. This is he wasn't in his nowhere near his prime, but and it wasn't in the band that I have the biggest bias for, but I went to see Paul McCartney live in 2011.
Oh,
and yeah, that's my favorite concert. He played all the freaking hits, and his band was really good too. And he's still rocking, man. Yeah, so I think that was one of my favorite live experiences. So yeah, him. I've seen especially in the 2000s. I used to go to all the freaking emo band concerts, and they were all good too. The music doesn't hold up, but still, they're still great shows. Like I used to see Chiodo's Alisana for any of the people that have listened to those bands. I think I don't know how many people are gonna know this band. It's a Mexican rock band. It's called Maná. I saw them, and they played with Carlos Santana.
Oh shit!
When they came here, it was a heck of a concert, man. That was like during the smooth era where it's like just like the ocean.
Yeah.
Under the moon.
Yeah. I saw him when they did that. What's it called? What else? I saw. Who surprised me? And I've never seen him live before or after. Actually, is Rob Zombie.
Oh yeah, that was a good one too.
We've
seen her a bunch of times. Yeah.
We've never actually saw White Zombie. We've only
never saw.
Seen Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
Just Rob Zombie by himself. Yeah.
I would have loved to see them.
I've seen tons of concerts. Freaking a lot of Mexican ones that a lot of people are not gonna get. I've seen Cypress Hill. I've seen Cypress Hill.
Shit.
Oh yeah.
Jump up, get down.
Jump
up on it.
They did what's it called? They did a festival with a lot of people. Tyler the Creator came. Tyler the Creator's great.
Oh yeah, Tyler.
Yeah, especially the stuff that he's released more recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of great concerts. I think Paul McCartney is my favorite though.
Man on a run. I'm gonna answer for Adam. He's gonna say Mr. Bungle.
Oh, Mr. Bungle. We've seen them live too, though.
Yep,
you know?
we've seen Mr.
They
Bungle.
They're open for Tool, if I remember correctly.
No, it was Fantomas that opened for Tool.
Oh, okay, got them mixed up then.
Mr. Bungle, me and Adam went to see specifically. Mr. Bungle is so what is that group? System of the Down. We've seen them a lot of times too.
Yeah, we've seen them.
But Mr. Bungle almost sounds like a proto version of them. That's way before they ever existed, and they had that sort of frantic sort of skipping to different styles. In fact, their first album sounds like very similar to Mr. Bungle.
Good stuff. Right, Rich, anybody else you want to toss in there?
Yeah, I just got one more to add.
Yeah.
One concert I went to a few years ago, awesome. It was Nas performing with Lauryn Hill.
Oh, shit.
And she was actually on time for the performance. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Legends,
Come on,
man.
Lauren. I've actually some of the other ones, some of the non-metal ones that I've seen. These are ones I've seen with my mom. I saw because my mom actually used to work at Madison Square Garden years ago. So if you ever heard me stories of me and Adam, like we always used to go to the wrestling stuff all the time. But some of the concerts I've seen with her, I've seen. I think I saw Whitney Houston with her. I saw Janet Jackson. I think that was a New Year's thing. We were there. Then Michael Jackson, and then we also saw Joe Jackson, but Joe Jackson is not the Joe Jackson you think of. Joe Jackson did that one stepping out, stepping out into the night.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Anyway,
wasn't Joe Jackson Michael Jackson's dad?
Yes, that is Joe Jackson, but there was a actual famous Joe Jackson who made that song that I was just singing.
Gotcha.
I think that song's on Vice City. I could be wrong about that though.
Yeah, I think it's in there. We actually saw that, and that one is an interesting one because my mom was before she had become worked at Madison Square Garden and stuff. When I was young, she was actually a salsa musician. She had a whole all-woman band. Anyway, the bongo, not the bongo, but the timbale player on the band actually went on to become a percussionist for the music industry. So she worked for people like Cyndi Lauper, which we've also seen, well as Joe Jackson, and we got free tickets to see them.
I think I know who you're talking about. She's like on every concert, like she's super famous. Like, right?
It was her name is Susan Tadopoulos or something like that. But she's in the True Colors music video. Like you literally see her playing bongos in the background, the bongos in the background. So yeah, like that. So we used to see all kinds of shows and stuff because whenever she come in town, she'd give my mom a call and say, "Hey, let's go. I invited you to see this. Let's go see this. See me perform and stuff." So yeah, there you go.
Good stuff. All right, moving on here. Next one, Damien.
What's up, Damien?
No fanboy questions though, man.
Yeah, there will be a fanboy question, I'm sure.
He's asking us some real stuff. He's asking some real shit.
Yeah, more comic book stuff. This one's fun. Who was the evilest villain in DC and Marvel comics? He goes, his is Joker, the evil Joker, not the goofy Joker. So yeah, who is the evilest villain in DC and Marvel?
Ooh, evilest.
Yeah, this is a hard question to answer because like villains change depending on the writer,
Yeah.
Like there was a time where like Green Goblin was evil motherfucker, throwing Spider-Man's girlfriend off the bridge and stuff.
Yeah, the most purest of evilest characters.
Yeah. That's the thing. There are no real pure evil because they keep changing the storylines and stuff.
Dr. Doom has retained his evilness.
Yeah, even though he was like a hero at one point. Remember, he took over for Iron Man, and then he started being a good guy. So he was, comics do this shit all the time.
It's a weird thing because, when you think about Dr. Doom's history, right? He literally at one point he took Galactus's powers. Yeah. He took the Secret War guy's powers.
He's always taking somebody's powers.
He's always trying to steal he took the Silver Surfer's powers.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I don't consider Dr. Doom evil. He's just super arrogant, and he thinks he's the best ever, Very, he has a lot of hubris. But yeah, evil. Galactus is not evil at all. He's just a force of nature.
No, Galactus is not. No, Galactus is not really evil.
Yeah,
he's hungry.
Yeah, like you could. I could even argue Joker is not evil. He's just crazy. Because the thing, like to me, evil means you know what you're doing is bad, but you're doing it because you like it. I mean, Joker enjoys himself too. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. Yeah, it's a hard one because again, comic. They changed so much with these villains, There was a point where Magneto was evil, not really evil anymore, when they introduced the whole backstory with him. But in the original one, he was like, they must destroy mankind.
I must destroy mankind.
Yeah. I guess Purple Man's pretty evil, He knows what he's doing.
Purple Man.
The Purple Man.
He's purposely, like, manipulative and all that stuff, so...
Yeah. So yeah, it's a tough one because the writers, they keep changing these characters around. Giving them backstory, you kind of understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, they all sort of become semi-relatable at some point. Like
like again, there are some version of Jokers that are legitimately evil, and then some others that are not. So yeah, tough one to answer. What about you, Rich? You have a definitive answer for this one?
I agree. It is a tough one to answer. The Joker is the character that I've pretty much every form of DC stuff, whether it's the comics or the movies or the animated films, the Joker is the key character for me. That it just consistently is just one of the best villains. Yeah, it's hard for me to narrow it down from there. But yeah, I would say go to Carlos or Manny, and if I could think of something else, I'll chime in later.
Yeah. I think Manny and I are like, I don't know, because again, they keep changing these guys. Somebody said Thanos. I don't consider him evil. He's. Yeah, I'm not speaking about the movie version, but like literally, the dude killed half the universe because he wanted pussy. That was literally it.
Yeah. He didn't do it because he felt that the universe was too inhabited. He did it because he wanted to friggin' court death.
Yeah, literally death. Death is a woman in the Marvel universe, so he wanted to have her. So he was like, what's a good way of getting her good graces? Kill half the universe. So I mean, that is the very evil act, obviously, but he wasn't like, like those mustaches. See, Lex Luthor, he was evil at, like in the Silver Age and stuff. But again, then they changed him.
The best representation of that is Gene Hackman as Lex
the greatest
Luthor.
criminal mind,
the greatest criminal mind of all time.
Yeah, like up to the like, actually, I'm thinking about it. Like Lex Luthor is pretty fucking evil. Like 80s Luthor was evil, the businessman. He was even more evil, people consider, because he was a businessman. He would like invent
Double
shit.
Evil.
You know what? No, that's my answer. Lex Luthor has actually consistently been pretty fucking evil.
Yeah.
And like again, because like, why does he want to kill Superman? It's not, he tells everybody, like, because I'm standing up for humans. No, it's because Superman's better than him, and he doesn't like that. He can't stand that shit. So he has to kill him. And he puts all this money into killing this one dude when he could be putting that money into, like, improving the world, And in some storylines, like, he'll be like, oh, yeah, I invented a cure for cancer. Make sure it only works halfway, so we got to keep him on the dole, that's my answer. Then I got an answer. Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is fucking evil,
The greatest criminal mind of all time.
Greatest criminal mind, All right, Carlos, you have any DC and Marvel?
Yeah, Miles Morales is Spanish, and Miles Morales is evil.
That's his arch enemy right there.
Oh, thank you, Piggy Dan. Yeah.
Oh, who got that?
Carnage is pretty fucking evil, dude.
Yeah, he's he's a serial killer. Yeah, he's pretty evil. There's no redeeming factors in that motherfucker.
Yeah. Jonah Jameson, he's not evil, He's
not really evil, but he's kind of a dope because he just doesn't want to see when anything is done right.
Yeah, although the whole thing with the Spider Slayers was borderline evil, Like, dude, you're a reporter. Why are you buying technology to kill Spider-Man? Like, what?
I want to kill Spider-Man.
Loki used to be evil,
Yes, he used to be pretty damn evil, but now he's like, oh, I misunderstood. I'm Loki. I misunderstood. I'm just a variant.
Oh God. All right, man. Moving on here. That was fun. More evil. All right. This is a Piggy Dan. Okay. What would be the most epic good versus evil hero versus villain battles? You can combine heroes and villains from all mediums, games, books, movies, whatever. We could go crazy here.
All-out battle between good and evil.
So it could be like, yeah, again, you could combine somebody like a good guy from a video game versus a bad guy from a book. Like, you could just go nuts, you know? This is one of those. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Omni-Man versus One Punch Man.
What? That would be a good fight. Because it's like, whoa. like a One Punch Man take him out?
I mean, One Punch Man can take him out with one punch, but the thing is, he's gonna land that one punch.
Got to land that one punch, yeah. Now, Omni-Man's not evil either, you know?
Oh.
That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, that would be a good one.
You don't want to do no spoilers on that one because they didn't read the books.
Exactly, motherfuckers. Shit's been out for years. Yeah, I don't have much of an imagination for this one. I don't know. What about the rest of you guys? What about you guys in the chat? Go ham.
What heroes? What heroes and villains do you want to see?
Yeah, because we've already seen a lot of that stuff with the amalgam universe and stuff, like
Marvel,
Doom, Doctor Doom
Marvel
versus Superman,
DC
exactly.
Stuff, yeah.
Everybody's drawing blank, so it's a tough one, but it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough one.
I am a writer, but I'm not that kind of writer yet. You know. You know.
How about King Arthur versus what's his name? Jon Snow.
Yeah, shit, that's crazy.
The chosen ones.
The chosen ones. I thought you were going to go something crazy like King Arthur versus Richard Nixon.
I mean,
that is viable, you know.
Or King Arthur versus Aragorn.
Yeah. Hey, ooh, but they're both heroes though.
They are the king of men.
Yeah, no, he says hero and villain, you know.
Hero and villain. Sauron versus Sauron.
That would be a crazy battle, you know.
I mean, Sauron would win because he's like this fucking intergalactic, whatever, super space, not space being. He's like a magic being from another dimension
versus
or some
a
shit,
fucking
right?
pterodactyl man.
The pterodactyl mutant man.
Legolas versus Hawkeye. There you go.
Oh,
even though
that's a good one.
They're both heroes, though. You know. Piggy Neck, we just have any matchup? You're in the chat. You asked the question, so can we just expand it to whatever? Because that'd be more fun.
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Galactus from the Fantastic Four versus the Flying Nimbus.
Oh shit! No, I got one. Galactus from Fantastic Four versus whatever the hell's going on in that Moon movie that's coming out right now with Roland Emmerich movie. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Red Hood versus Punisher. That's two villains versus each other. I like that. And yes,
Punisher's not really a villain.
I kind of consider Punisher a villain.
He's an anti-hero.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, yeah, he said go nuts. So Legolas versus Hawkeye is permitted. You know?
He will allow it.
Yeah. Or you could have what's his face? Damn it, what's the name of that? The I can't say that word. I can't say the word. I can't because it's offensive now. Even though that was a technical term we used for small people back in the day. Manny, what's the name of that small dude in Alpha Flight? Puck, right? Him versus Gimli. I think that'd be fun.
And my axe.
Or what's his name? What was the other dude? Something the troll, the guy from the Secret Watch or whatever. The one he used to have. He had the soul gem under his arm or some shit. No, that was excuse me, that's not him. Adam Warlock had the soul gem.
Yeah.
But that dude was part of the Infinity Watch.
Yeah. I remember Infinity Watch.
And they thought that Peter Dinklage was actually playing that guy role.
Ooh, Aragorn versus Jon Snow. Aragorn will win that
I mean,
shit.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Aragorn would win that.
Ooh, Jin
so.
Sakai versus Death Adder. Old school, man. No, motherfuckers don't know about no Death Adder around here, you know? I like
we
that.
do know about Jin Sakai.
We do know about Jin Sakai. No, I mean, Manny and I know about Death Adder.
We know about the Death Adder, but
Golden Axe baby,
That I mean, I would say the Death Adder is like probably the epitome of evil. That dude is fucking. There is nothing redeeming about Death Adder.
That would be a good question for you. Like, what are the most evil game villains? Because there are some evil game villains. Spider Ham versus Biff Tannen. I see. I like that. That's insane. Metal Sonic versus Iron Man. That's a fun one. All right, good stuff. Deadpool versus Superman.
Harry Potter versus Gandalf.
Oh shit!
I mean, two big franchises, magic franchises. I mean, I would think Harry Potter would probably lose against Gandalf.
Yeah.
Well, Harry Potter. Yeah.
Well, Gandalf is like immortal.
Well, Gandalf. The reason why he survives is because it's his mission to do what he's supposed to do.
I mean,
also because he's a fucking demigod.
Yeah, he's like a demigod. It's like he can't die. Like he just gets resurrected, so that's why he comes back slightly.
What is he? I gotta get nerdy right. He's a Maiar, right? Like, yeah, he's like a demigod type of thing.
Well, Gandalf. And correct me if I'm wrong. Gandalf, he died in Fellowship of the Ring, quote unquote, but he got resurrected from, I don't know, who was the dude from Valinor? I don't know who it was. But he got revived because his mission wasn't complete.
Yeah, no, that is true. But I'm just saying he's like a demigod, so they can't really die. People.
And if his mission is to kill Harry Potter in order to do something, he's unstoppable.
Yeah, Odin versus Gandalf.
Beardos.
Man. Yeah, a bunch of beards. It'll just be a battle of beards.
Or you could have it like characters who played very similar.
Ooh, I like that. Oh, hold on. Here we go.
Go ahead.
Actually, no. This could actually happen. Actually, this will happen.
It is gonna happen.
I'm actually not gonna say this one then, because that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Spoiler.
Yeah, that is gonna be. You spoiled it 2 years ago.
That's 3 years.
Yeah. All right, Doctor Strange versus Palpatine. Doctor Strange. Because he has magic. Yeah. Palpatine just has lightning,
He just has force lightning. I mean, he can the Emperor go through through alternate dimensions? Nah, he can just throw some lightning and maybe float around.
He can do interstellar. He can do interstellar FaceTime.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fun one. Abby versus Chi-Chi. I'm gonna go with Chi-Chi, man. She beat her ass.
From Dragon Ball?
Yeah, from Dragon Ball. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Chi-Chi's actually, believe it or not, Chi-Chi's actually very strong.
Yeah, she is.
You don't get to see it very much, but she beat the fuck out of like Ox King and all those guys.
Yeah, she's super strong. So
you can say that about every fucking character in Dragon Ball. They're actually pretty strong, but the author just neglects every character that's not Goku and Vegeta.
I mean, like Yamcha, right? Like he's supposed to be like a normal guy, right? But for a normal guy, he's stupid strong. Like they showed him as a baseball player in the thing, and he's just literally like inhumanly, knocking the balls out of the park like for home runs all the damn time. So he's stupid strong for a regular person. He just can't beat those fucking nutty like almost god beings that the other guys can fight.
Or he can't fight explosive little like cabbage dudes.
He can't beat. He can't get on. He can't not get exploded. He can't not get exploded by Cybermen.
Yeah. All right, man. Good stuff. Move on. Next question here. All right. This might be a little deep.
Oh.
When have you had the most fun in your life? What do you think could possibly top that experience? Rich, you go first if you have anything in mind.
Wow. Yeah, that is a deep one.
And why is it right now talking to us?
Yeah, right. Having a blast right now. You know what? I'll go first. I can't name a specific thing. Memories just run each other, but I will say, I guess, my teenage years were super fun hanging out with Manny and Mike and all these other guys. That was a lot of fun, man. Because again, we weren't worried about anything, you know.
Nope.
You would just go to school, play some video games, go to 71st Street, you know, go to some movies. You know, it was good times, man. So yeah, definitely my teenage years were a lot of fun. But there's no like this event will ever tie. Like I've had so many really cool events. I don't know. But yeah, like anytime. No, it's funny because I was kind of sort of tweeting about this. No, you can't really replicate that sort of stuff. You know, the older you get, the more cynical you get, more jaded you get. Like you just feel like a constant of
more responsibilities.
Yeah, more responsibilities. You know, that kills a lot of fun right there. But like I'm talking about specifically with entertainment, you just get this overwhelming sense of like been there, done that. You know, and like Manny said, just being honest, a lot of shit that's being put out is just low quality. You know. And that makes it even worse.
Well, and then we have the money and the means to do these things. You know, like for example, Tony has to review a lot of this stuff, so he gets to play everything. So back in the day, I mean, for most of us, we played 1 or 2 games, every so often.
Yeah.
So they had to be we had to be the good ones, unless I got Sub-Zero.
Oh God!
I'm like, God damn, my summer's ruined.
Yeah. But I think, if we're going to just talk about it in a larger context, and this will just be something that I think I'm probably speaking for everybody here right now. I'm going to enjoy this till the day I die, just hanging out with friends, man. That shit will never be topped, Yeah. Because it don't matter if you're in a good mood, bad mood. You hang out with friends, you're good to go,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I agree with for me. I agree with Tony. Like our past together, growing up. I feel like that's probably that's pretty up there.
Yeah,
but I also say I would have to say like playing Street for me. I would have to say playing Streets of Rage last year.
Oh yeah, that was good.
After all that shit happened, happened with my mom and being sick and all that stuff. Being sick for like 2-3 weeks and just finally coming back and just going back to doing something that we used to do. That's
Manny and I got together for that. That helped both of us. But we went through our whole game. I think we streamed it, didn't we?
Yeah, we streamed the whole thing. Yeah,
we did the whole game. Yeah,
and it was just like going back to what we remembered. Just playing, just the two of us. We weren't in the same place, but just the two of us playing fucking Streets. Like Final Fight or any one of the fighting games. Just going through the game. Good stuff.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. All right, Rich, what about you, man?
So a lot of the childhood stuff was some good memories, but if I can be honest about in terms of more recent times, and this is definitely a little bit deeper, I have to say, even though we have had some positive and some negative times, I honestly think joining the coalition and getting a chance to meet all of you, some of which I've met you in person, others I've only met over the computer, but having that experience of meeting other people that are also into the same type of stuff I'm into was very cool. Going to stuff like E3 for the very first time and being able to, you get to see some of the devs that work on some of these games, but you also, for me, the main thing is getting the chance to hang out with all of you, especially when we're just talking over the computer most of the time.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yard House, man, you already know. That's a tradition for you guys who don't know, man. At the last day of every E3, me, Rich, Manny, all of us, we all get together, go to Yard House and just chill. You're right, Rich. Like that shit cannot be replicated, man. That shit is always good, I still remember, last year, like we would go to every single event together. Then we go to like Roscoe's or whatever, just chill. Good times, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I mean, I know that the industry is changing. It's in a different place than when we first started doing this. Yeah. It's not quite the same, but I definitely hold those memories dear. Just the connections, all the things that happened just from coming to this website in the first place and being able to meet a lot of great people. So that's something I definitely have been very happy to see happen.
Good stuff. All right, Mighty Nerd, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
What about you, Carlos? When was the time you had the most fun in life?
Ah, man. There's always, times in my life that I have happy moments. It's like, I can say something from, you know, the last couple of years. It's like, yeah, I can say that. Uh, you know, going to Japan for the first time in my life. You know, playing Monster Hunter World is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. There's always those moments, right, that you can pinpoint. And but I don't think anything compares. And it's going back to the sort of the stuff that Tony was talking about. I don't think anything compares to sort of preteen to teenager time, because especially during the summers, it felt like you had every day felt like a week. It's like I would wake up at 7 a.m. to go to my friend's house so we can do whatever, ride a bike, play a video game, run around, go to play soccer, do anything. Like anything was an adventure, and everything.
For real.
Like, it didn't really matter what you were doing. You could have been telling, doing a campfire at night and telling ghost stories. I remember it was like 2002. We were like little kids, and the World Cup was in Japan and South Korea. We would stay up at night, play soccer till 3, 4 in the morning until the games came up, until Mexico played. We watched the game, and it's a time of life that you live without any all of the cynicism that most humans build up when we get older. All the responsibilities, you don't have to make yourself food, you don't have to wash your clothes, or you don't have to pay the bills, you don't have to do work. Especially during the summers, it's just like it's the closest I've ever felt to being free.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And it's ironic because I couldn't drive, I wasn't in a relationship. There's a lot of things that I couldn't do. I didn't have money, but I still felt like I could do anything. It's weird. Yeah, I don't think anything will ever come close to that time. Ever.
No, you're 100% right, man. I'm hearing that shit, like, man, that's right. But you're right. It's like, because we're technically freer now. We got money. We can do whatever the fuck we want. But you're restrained. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing I just kind of realized just having this conversation, that I hope I phrase this correctly, but I kind of feel like just living life, you kind of build up like a callus around, like, for the lack of a better term, your soul. It's like, but when you were younger, you didn't have that shit. Things felt fresh and new. And now, because of that callus you have around you, like, things don't feel the way they used to, and unfortunately, I mean, that's life. This is not anything new or whatever, but, the older you get, the more numb you get to shit, So,
and it's also important to mention the time frame that we grew up. It was the internet existed, but it wasn't really there.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't there. I mean, like, I know you're younger than me, but it's still the same kind of thing. Like, when you were young, there was no internet. Then later on, that's when it came. Actually, we're all kind of in that. 'Cause, like, somebody put it this way, and it's such a great thing. We had analog childhoods and digital adulthoods. That's pretty much our generation.
Much. And everything was lived through the physical experience.
Yeah.
We were meeting each other, we were hanging out, we were going camping, we were fighting.
Fighting.
That shit always was popping.
That's how you made friends back in the day, man. You had to fight.
Yeah,
man.
kind of like Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like
all those motherfuckers were trying to kill him back in the day.
Like, even some I don't know if you guys would go from one there's your hood, right? It's like everyone in the block, everyone that lives around you, but then sometimes you would cross over to another part of the neighborhood. That was a fucking adventure.
Yeah, it was. You didn't know what was gonna happen, and your imagination would take over, Like, obviously nothing was really gonna happen most of the time, but your head would make it like, oh shit, like, we just crossed that block. What's gonna happen, man? This shit is crazy right now.
you start hearing stories about, people that live there. It's like, oh, there's this gang there, this motherfucker, La Llorona and shit. And it's like, oh,
La Llorona.
all the mythic tales, like all superstitions and stuff. Back in the day, that shit, it
was
prominent.
real. It was real, man. But again, you're younger, your imagination's going because you don't know. You haven't lived life. Yeah, those were good times, man. You now replicate that shit.
Also, just to go a little bit deep, it's gonna be real quick. Man, I feel bad. I feel fucking terrible for the kids under the pandemic.
Oh,
yeah.
I just feel bad. My nephews, man, I feel fucking horrible, man.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just really bad time to be growing up, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, you're right. It had to be said.
You know what's funny though? I know we sort of looking at the outside, looking in. I think a lot of times when it comes to children and
kids adapt pretty well.
They kind of adapt pretty well. I mean, they're able to sort of accept the new norm for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of things that there's things that have happened in probably all of our childhoods where you look back at it, you'll be like, you know what, that was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I'm just talking about it now. It's like, think about it like this. Like, again, there's the adaptability of kids. You have grown people who have fond memories. I mean, these kind of people I don't think they're alive anymore because this was years ago. But they would have fond memories like playing in the rubble after the Blitz, and you know what I'm saying? Like, kids, they adapt to shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like they're like having fun in a war zone. And they don't have memories of it. But so yeah, it's crazy, and they'll look at it wistfully too. But you're right. Looking like as an outsider, you're like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. You got to live through it. We didn't have to deal with that shit,
No.
Like what was the big scandal when we were like the Clinton trial or something,
Well, I mean, there was. I mean, granted, we were adults. It was 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11. That was a big one, but we were already adults with that, Shit is crazy, man.
That's the one thing. That's the thing. That's one of the things I find interesting. Essentially, a younger person growing up in the post 9/11 world, before 9/11 and after is a lot different.
Very different world, yeah. Just like before the Rona and after the Rona, you're gonna have different worlds, By the way, 9/11, dude, 20 years this Saturday, man.
Yep,
that is fucking crazy, Yeah. And I'm not gonna get into it, but you saw what happened with Afghanistan. It's like 20 years, bro. And that's what we have to show for it,
Mm-hmm.
Whew. All right, move on. Heavy tonight, boy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Mark W. All right, this one's a little bit cool. What is your most? I think we've been asked before, but Rich is here, so it's new enough. What is your most prized possession?
Oh yeah, we definitely asked.
So, Rich, you could take this over because we've answered this one before.
Oh wow, that's a tough one. Most prized possession.
Yeah. Like material possession that you own. Game, movie, figure, whatever,
Mm.
You know what? While you're talking about that, because I just had this thought, right? Because not to get too deep into it, but I'm thinking about moving, right? And I realized, I could probably get rid of most of my shit, and I'd be okay. Mm-hmm. Like, it wouldn't matter to me. I don't because I was thinking about I don't really have a prized thing that I need. I'm like, I could probably get rid of most of this shit.
You've never been that type of person, though. You've never been a sort of material sort of person. Like, whatever, like games. Yeah, you like to have games, but at the same time, I think you've always lived a fairly simple sort of existence.
Yeah. So I'm thinking.
I'll ask you this question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you feel some sort of way if you had to get rid of your Sega Saturn?
No, get rid of it. I'm not going to use it again. Like the only things I would feel right now, because again, like the past shit, it doesn't hit me as much. Like I would feel very bad if I got rid of my TV, but I could buy another one.
My TV,
PlayStation. I could be, I can't get another one right now, but I could get another one eventually. So, but yeah, no, I was legit thinking, my guitars, I could get rid of all this stuff. I don't need this shit, man. Like I think when the time comes when I make a move, I'm gonna get rid of a bunch of shit and just not look back, man. Like I think when I want to do with my comic books, like if give them away to somebody, you know, that maybe wants them. Because I'm like, I could literally read any Marvel comic I want on my fucking tablet. You know, I could read any book I want on my Kindle. I can watch any movie, you know, The Happy Place.
The Happy Place.
I'm like, I like any game I have digital. Like, I don't need any of this shit. You know,
I have I have a lot of like, you know, I have
CDs.
a lot of.
I got Spotify. I don't need this shit anymore. You know,
I have a lot of comic books and stuff, and you know, still up in New York. So I mean, I've been looking at, you know, thinking about getting rid of a lot of that stuff because I'm like, I don't want to bring all of that stuff back.
Yeah.
So it's just maybe, you know, either find somebody who will be willing to take it. Granted, I might want to keep some of the stuff that I might have that are signed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the rest of that stuff, I can let it go.
Yeah, those John Romita Jr. Comics I got, I'm not selling. I'm keeping those, you know. But yeah, and I realized, and I that's a good thing. It's like, yeah, I could live without eating all this shit. It's just material stuff, whatever, you know.
Yeah, you can't take it with you when you die.
Exactly. So, Rich, did you come up with anything?
Yeah, I mean, it to be quite honest, the conversation y'all just had is this is exactly how I feel. Also, you know, as you get older, you don't care about some of this stuff. You care about family. You know, the material possessions are like, yeah, it's not really a big deal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff, man. All right, next question here. This one's kind of interesting. I didn't know about this one, so you put me on, Mark W. China has proposed plans to build a mega-mile-long spaceship. Are we ready? This is kind of a two-part question in a way. Are we ready as a civilization to traverse into the great beyond? Right. For you guys who don't know, I looked into this. They're not building a spaceship to go into space like travel. It's more going to be like a space station, you know, that they want to just have people working in, living in, or whatever. I think it's too ambitious.
Kind of orbit the Earth.
Yeah. So given China's resource, I don't think they could do this, to be honest. Like, I don't even think America could do a mile-long structure. Like, dude, I don't know about that.
That might be too mega.
Yeah, you know. But are we ready as a civilization? We don't have the technology for it, man. We do not. Here's the thing. You see a lot of stories these days going, like, for example, the billionaires going to space. They're not going to space. They're going to low Earth orbit. That's all they're doing, you know?
And they're not... You also got to realize that the International Space Station is
also in low Earth orbit too. That's not in space. You know,
it's not in space.
It's not in space.
You know, every so often it has to sort of push itself upward to be in that space. But
for the grander, like, philosophical thing, like, are we ready? There is no perfect time. Think about it. Were you know, our ancestors ready to leave the caves? No, they had to fucking leave eventually, you know? So I think when the time comes, you know, we will leave the solar system and stuff. Obviously, we'll still have our base here, but it's not going to be in our lifetime. But again, I just want people to understand that most of the shit that you see in space, now I'm doing air quotes for you guys listening, it's not space. It's just Earth orbit, low Earth orbit. That's it. They're not even at the fucking Lagrange point, which is between the Earth and the Moon, like where you know, they kind of spin around each other. We don't even have shit there, you know.
Yeah, like the furthest we've gone is the Moon.
Yeah, and I mean, we've sent shit to Mars or whatever, but you know, I think Voyager has already left the sources. But and here's the thing, I do want to make clear. Even though our technology is not that great, we could have gone further if we had the will to do it. You know, we could have colonized Mars or the Moon or whatever, but the will isn't there, and you know, the capital isn't really there. So even though our technology is not great, it could have been pushed further. Like, and I'm going to use an example from Neil deGrasse Tyson. This is a great thing. For example, when you look at like an old cell phone, right? You're like, look at that clunk of shit. What the fuck is that? Because we have better stuff, right? Yet people look at old like spaceships, like, oh my god, that's amazing. That's old, crusty ass shit. You know, that shows you that we haven't advanced that much. You know, even though we could do it. Like the engineering is there, the theories are all there, everything is there. It's just the will isn't there. You know.
I think the other part of it is that, like, you know, you look at when all this our height of space travel was during the Cold War when we were in competition with the Russians or the Soviet Union at the time. it was literally that conflict without conflict that was essentially raising our our technical ability, because we're trying to be prepared for if this thing happens, this conflict ever happens.
And that's always, and Carlos, I'll let you go next, but that's always a motivator. Again, I'm using Neil deGrasse Tyson. He has great things. If, for example, China says, we got a base on Mars, we'll be there 9 months later. I guarantee you that. This is the way he broke it down. There's always been 3 key factors for exploration, for human exploration. And one of them isn't, let's journey to see what happens. That's never been a motivator. Don't listen to, what people tell you, like, America's always had this pioneering spirit. No, we didn't want Russians to get one over on us. So the 3 things that have always motivated people to, go somewhere else is, threat of death, invasion or whatever, war, money, or, reverence for your king. You could drop that one. People don't have that anymore. So you only really have money and, threat of death. So only way space travel is really going to advance is if we find, oh shit, there's the fucking asteroid made of gold out there. Let's go. Or, like China builds a fucking base on the moon or something, That's the only way shit's going to happen here.
Didn't China just recently go to the moon?
Yeah, they did, but, they don't. I'm talking about like a base, Yeah. Motherfuckers start mining helium-3. It's going to be a different story,
Mm-hmm.
Carlos, go ahead, bro.
Competition makes for better games. Apparently, it makes for better space travel as well. There's just no overall incentive for the people who have the money and who control the money to, if you look at the NASA's budget, it's nothing compared to the national
military
GDP.
budget.
Yeah, to the military budget especially. Yeah, so yeah, it's not a priority for most people. The competition is really non-existent in terms of trying to do something more than what we've already done. I think right now it's being the private sector is what's kind of running it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the private sector has to make a good profit off of it, or else it won't survive. So I don't know. I just think that we're not in a time where we're ready as a civilization to, do any of that. At least not in the next 20 years. Maybe after that, something will change.
Yeah. It's funny speaking about 9/11. I'm tying shit back together. And I don't know what this says about me. This might be a fucked up thought. But the first thing I thought when 9/11 really started popping, I'm like, fuck, this is going to set back space exploration.
And it did.
And it did. Because that's one thing I've always had in my mind. I'm like, because I honestly believe we need to colonize space. We really do. Because again, we did it on Earth. Now we just expand this shit. But you're right, Carlos. Right now, there's not really an incentive to do it. It's like it just seems like stunts. Like again, with the billionaires like going to low Earth orbit. That's fine, whatever. But I know some people get really offended by that. I don't care. Like they let them do what they're gonna do. But what offends me about it is like the idea of like, oh my God, they're going to space. No, they're not going to space. They're going where the fucking junk is up there.
They said the lesser effects of gravity, and they think that's space.
Yeah, like no, dude. Get beyond the moon, then we could talk. How about that?
Not space.
Yeah, get beyond the fucking moon, then we'll talk. Then you're in space. Because you could even argue like even if you go to the moon, you're still in Earth's like gravity well. Yeah, go out there. Mm-hmm. Go out there and see what happens. Rich, you have anything to say about this?
Are we ready to explore space and beyond?
Yeah.
I don't feel too confident about that. And I will use Elon Musk as an example. Because every time this guy invests in something and starts something, he does not stick to it. And it takes a long time to get going. So I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, you're right. It took a long time for those Tesla cars to really get going, But it did get going. Yeah, but
he's talking about robots and space travel and all kinds of junk.
Oh, man. Yep. All right. Good stuff. Move on here. this is going to be a
Something
question.
controversial?
No, it's not controversial. It's a question that you and I cannot actually answer, Manny.
Oh,
We're too ignorant about this shit. But Rich and Carlos can. So this is my question to you guys. What album was better? Kanye's Donda or Drake's CLB?
Yep, we can't answer that. Can't answer that one officially.
I've never heard. Like, if you play me music from either of these guys, I won't know anything. So
my hip hop knowledge ends in the early 2000s.
Oh, you're
so
further
like,
than me. I stopped listening to hip hop in the '90s, the early '90s. Like when after Biggie died, I'm like, you know.
No, I mean that's not early '90s. That's like mid.
No. That's mid. That's mid '90s, 1996 specifically.
Midnight. I mean, my hip hop knowledge goes at least up to 2001, and then it sort of flatlines.
Yeah, it got too commercial after that. Anyway, go ahead, Rich.
So here's a question. Who asked that question?
This is Chakzilla.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if they're gonna like the answer that I have. But, let's go to Carlos first.
Is it controversial?
I can't wait to hear what Carlos got. Oh yeah, it's gonna be controversial.
So controversial. I haven't listened to Certified Lover Boy yet. I have listened to part of Donda. It's okay. I'm not a huge fan of the most recent Kanye stuff, especially spiritual Kanye. I am a fan of Kids See Ghosts. Yeah, like the most recent stuff has been, hit or miss for me. Drake, I haven't listened to his latest album. I'm just assuming that it's gonna be kind of like everything else he releases, because he releases things pretty much on a yearly basis. He's like the Call of Duty of the rap game. So I don't really expect much. He'll probably have like a hit or two. I did, and Rich, I don't know if you saw the Andre 3000 controversy.
Yeah, I did see that.
Well, wait, what happened? What'd he do?
So apparently, so Kanye West and Drake are going through a beef right now.
Yep.
And Andre 3000 was supposed to be featured in Kanye's album. Okay. And they decided to pull the track from the album for certain reasons. And Drake, he leaked that song because it had it had disses towards him. So and then and Andre 3000 had to come out. It's like, yeah, this wasn't. I didn't want to be part of this and stuff. And then he co-signed a whole bunch of people. I wonder what Rich thinks about that.
Well, Andre 3000, for those that don't know, part of in my opinion, one of the better rap groups, Outkast.
Yeah,
we know Outkast. Yeah, we know.
Oh, you know Outkast. Yeah. So that controversy. Yeah, I heard the song yesterday, and I saw what the comments was that Andre 3000 had, and it's very unfortunate because he mentioned a couple people that he wants to work with. It wasn't just those two people. But his involvement, the Donda song that he was on, it would have been a good song because it was basically a tribute to both his mom passing away and Kanye's mom passing away. That was why Kanye wanted to work on that song with him, because they can talk about that perspective. But yeah, it just did not work out, unfortunately. And it's unfortunate that they got him in the middle of all of this, because I thought the controversy was just there to sell records. The beef is just to get attention to both projects and sell records. But we'll see about that.
That's why he became friends with Pusha T. Drake did, so he wouldn't get roasted again.
So man, well, we should call up Charles Singletary. This is like a episode
this is
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nice at a turntable right now.
Yeah, it's coming back. That's funny.
So Rich, I'm wondering what the controversial statement is going to be.
Okay, so let me say this right now. I heard the Donda album, and I will just say this: Kanye West will never be as good as he was when he did his first two albums. I know there are a lot of people that love this guy still, and they get hyped whenever he has a concert and has a listening party and takes weeks to release the album that was supposed to have been released a long time ago. But I just think Kanye has a lot of issues. I know he does have some mental issues in all seriousness, and I think it's chaotic. The chaotic nature in which he goes about everything that is reflected in how he acts and how he does all of this stuff right now. So it's not a surprise. And then as far as his album rollout, there were a lot of songs that he had other artists on, and he pulled them in those songs from the album. Because Soulja Boy and Chris Brown, these guys were on that album initially. And I saw that when Kanye released the album, Soulja Boy wasn't on it, so he was talking bad about Kanye on social media, and then he released the song that he was on with Kanye. So, yeah, that rollout was horrible. So, Kanye, no. Drake, I saw his video the other day, and just to give both you, Tony, and Emilio an idea of how silly some of the Drake music is, this guy made a version of a song based off of that song, "I'm Too Sexy." You know that song?
Yeah,
I'm
we do.
too sexy for my
God.
shirt.
What
Yes.
the fuck?
Yeah, I'm too sexy for my cat.
He did a version of that song. I saw the video. Now the video was very comical because I saw the video last night.
Yeah.
But
Is that the one
it's
with
just-
Kawhi Leonard?
Kawhi Leonard is in it.
Oh,
And Future is in it. You know, Future who
Yeah.
likes to get every woman pregnant that he gets near. Yeah. So that's what that's all about. So my answer to the question, I wasn't really a fan of the Drake album. I wasn't a fan of the Kanye album. So my answer is Tyler the Creator's album, one of the best albums of the year. And if I had to give a second place to, in my personal opinion, Nas King Disease #2. Because that album, it's better than the last album that he did, but if I have to say the albums that I think are the better albums so far this year, Tyler #1. That's number one.
Call me if you get lost. Yeah.
Yes, Call Me If You Get Lost. And Nas is close #2. But yeah, I wasn't impressed with Kanye or Drake.
I'm gonna conjure the spirit of Richard right now. Like, speaking about being lost, I was lost during this segment. Yeah. So it's Donda. That's how you say it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Carlos, I think I told you this before, right? Because I think in English, right? But my first language was Spanish. So when I come to
Donda.
a word I've never heard before, I default to Spanish. I'm like, Donda. Right, and then I went to donde, like where, you know. But that's every time I see that, I'm like donde, you know. But yeah, no, that was like
I was just,
yeah.
I was just thinking of Lords of the New School, you know. Busta Rhymes is all group.
There you go, man. But
Not Tribe Called Quest, like you motherfuckers think he was on that shit, because he was not.
Oh man,
He wasn't part of the tribe. He just was featured on it with Lords of the New School.
yeah. By the way, Busta Rhymes got into some controversy over vaccinations, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. Oh man. All right, let's move on. Good stuff. Okay. By the way, this is a quick aside question. I'm not going to have it as an official one. Also from Chackzilla, he goes, if I come to New York City, can we get a drink? Of course. He goes, where are the hangouts to have a good time with Tony and the boys? Here's the thing. The only guys you'll really see is like me and Manny.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I come, you know, I live
swing
out
by.
in PA, so I mean, I just swing up.
Yeah,
you know?
we'll take you to Barcade, man. We'll be good. You know.
Yeah, we're not like his thing. Like, we're not like, I would say, if Adam were there.
Yeah.
And this was maybe when he still lived there, when he was still up on New York shit. Yeah, we would go to some
go
crazy
places,
bars because he knows some shit.
Yeah.
But you know, new Adam, he's disappointed in New York now because
Yeah, he doesn't like New York
What's
anymore.
happened to it?
Yeah. But at the height, you had me, Manny, and Adam, and Chris living here. You know.
Yep.
But yeah, we could get a drink. As a matter of fact, it's funny. I could talk about this. This is behind the scenes stuff, but it still may happen. Before the Rona, right? Danny Pena and I were talking about like, yo, we should have some like like meetups and shit with gamers and shit while he was in the city. But obviously that all went to shit. So hopefully when everything goes back to normal, I could start doing something on my end with some of the New York people I know.
That did sort of happen. Not
It
long
started
ago, huh?
happening. Yeah, we had one, a little bit, but like we wanted to do like a more official thing, There are places like OS NYC, which is really cool. But yeah, when things settle down, we'll try to do something because I know a lot of people in the city, and it's something I've kind of thought about. I think it would be good, get together with like Red Infamy and Hip Hop Gamer and a bunch of other people, do something cool for you guys.
The peeps.
The
peeps.
All right, man. Moving on here. Next question.
It's funny. We haven't we haven't actually hung out much with hip hop or Red outside of just events.
No, it's always been events. I've never we saw Red at Star Wars one time.
Yeah, when we went to see Star Wars, we just randomly saw her up in Queens.
Yeah, what are you doing in Queens? What the fuck? Yeah, it was The Force Awakens, I believe.
Yeah, we went to see Force Awakens.
Yeah, she was in our 3. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? I didn't recognize her because she wasn't, she didn't have. I'm not gonna say, but I didn't recognize her at all. I didn't recognize her. She was this girl looking at me. I'm like, who's this girl?
I was like, oh hey, with Red, how's it going? Yeah, I knew exactly who it was
because she didn't look the way she normally does. She's like Tony. I'm like, oh shit,
Also, the elephant in the room is whenever the whole Throwdown cast gets together.
Yeah, man, we were gonna get a good chunk. Yeah, we were gonna get a good chunk of us together last year during E3. It was gonna be most of us. I think Brian and Brett were the only exception. Even Carlos was gonna try to get out there to LA, but
it was good. Yeah, it was gonna be like Chris, Adam.
Yeah, the New York boys and Carlos.
The New York boys and Carlos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shit, but hopefully it'll happen. One day in the future. All right.
I realize I haven't seen Adam in person in a long time.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, I don't think I've seen Adam in like 20 years or something. It's been a long time.
No, it has been more than it hasn't been 20 years. I mean, like
last time I remember seeing him was fucking at the Slayer concert. No, that was like 15 years ago. Yeah.
No, you saw him before that. He was still living in NYC.
Or you mean after that? No, that's the only last time I remember seeing him was at the Slayer show. At Roseland. Rest in peace to Roseland.
Yep, rest in peace.
Man.
All funny, right. I saw a movie with it in there. I was like, that's
man.
It's an old movie.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Logic Wins, who's been joining us all night. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Logic?
Oh, Manny, this is kind of up your alley. I don't know how much you're free to speak on this, though.
Okay.
All right. Manga is outselling American comics worldwide despite the massive popularity of the MCU. Why is this, and what are possible solutions? Again, I don't know how much you're free to speak on this.
Oh no, I mean I don't think this is rocket science or any sort of industry secrets. I think the biggest reason why manga has been able to outsell Western comics is because manga has been able to capture the eye of the young. As comics have gone on in recent in our era, they have not been able to capture the younger audiences, which was their audience.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day when Marvel was doing when they were back in the day when they had Marvel actually did manga. They actually did Akira they actually did manga, fucking Mangaverse. That's bullshit.
Yeah, you're talking about when they published Akira. Yeah,
when they published Akira,
flipped it and stuff. That was a little bit controversial.
Yeah, they flipped it. Yeah, it was controversial at the time, but the color on that was pretty well done. But anyway, like they did it. But the thing is that it never did well for them. The comic industry never saw manga as a factor.
Yeah.
Cut to as anime and stuff, all that sort of stuff started to get more popular. That's when Mangaverse came around, when they're trying to peep that little bit of get that little bump from the younger audiences. But the comic industry has never treated the manga industry as a legitimate threat to whatever they do. Cut to now. We have a whole generation of people who grew up with manga, grew up with anime and manga all over the place. And what's the comic industry doing? The same goddamn bullshit they always do. And that's the problem. It's not relatable to the younger audiences. It's nothing that they want to look at. Just because and also one of the other things I have to say about manga is that there's brand synergy between their products. When you look up Full Metal Alchemist, what do you see? You see all the same content. It's all the same, universe. The manga, the anime, Whatever else, it's all the same. Even the movie they did looks very close to what they did. Now you look at something like the MCU. There's no brand synergy. There's alternate versions of Spider-Man that are all over the goddamn place. There's not one continuity with all of that sort of stuff. You watch an animated show at Spider-Man, that's a different Spider-Man that's in the movies Spider-Man. Then there's previous Spider-Man films that have existed that are totally different universes too. And I think that's another big issue. When you look at these things, there should be a synergy between them. You go out, it's all the same content. So it's a lot of that's a lot. I think that's the biggest thing though with manga and manga in the States is the fact that it's captured the young. It's cooler than the comics. The comics, the kids will go see the MCU movies, but that's where it ends. And there's no, I always call comics the redheaded stepchild of entertainment, because at the one end, Marvel and DC are all making all these millions of dollars on movies, but yet none of that really comes back to the comic industry. You don't go to an Avengers movie and you don't see anything comic related there. Like, how are you telling me you have an Avengers movie doing it based off of a bunch of different comics? How come you're not giving people that fucking comic when they walk in the goddamn door?
Yeah.
How is it that you're not like? How is it that how come every single person that's going to see this new Spider-Man film isn't getting a shitload of content on the Marvel app or whatever you need? There's no connection. You look at all the toys that you see out there, right? Marvel Legends. None of that stuff actually goes back and connects to any of the comic content. They're all on their own islands, and they're just slightly adjacent to each other, and that's the biggest problem with the industry, or one of them.
Yeah. So my perspective is, I agree with everything you said. Manga's giving the audiences what they want, man. Like, comic books are not doing that. I'm trying to be very careful right now. Comics are trying to cater to an audience that doesn't read comic books. They just want to see certain things in comics, so they kind of have bullet points, to kind of go with, right? Meanwhile, here's the thing. Comic books, they're trying to be, like, I guess, deeper than they need to be or whatever. They're trying to do these messages. Manga, like, it feels like they're just asking themselves one question. How do we make this shit fun? That's what comics used to do.
Comics in general were never these mindful statements. You could say a couple of them are, maybe The Watchmen and there's these sorts will save, but to its core, comics are fucking exploitation. They've always have been exploitation, with maybe a little bit of a sprinkle of current events in there.
Yeah, so that's what, and by the way, I'm saying this as a guy. I do not care about manga at all. I don't care for it, but I see what those guys are doing. They're doing the right thing. They're giving the audiences what they want, And here's the thing about manga and comic books. I've forgotten this. Manga is disposable, right? It's cheap as shit. They print it on crappy paper, and that's good because you buy it cheap and you get rid of it and you get another one. Comic books are think about this. You could take a chance on manga. It's cheap as fuck. You're not gonna buy a $6 comic book just on the humbug,
Yes. Look at how much you get from a manga, right? For the same amount, which is $10. And how many? And that's like 200 and something pages.
Yeah, exactly.
How many of that is in modern floppies?
Dude, think about it. This is how bad comic books are right now. The average comic book is about 20 pages, right? I can read a regular comic book in 7 minutes, done, right? You go back 20 years. I'm talking about American comics right now. 20-page comic, you'll be there for a good half an hour reading that shit. There's so much content in there, right? So think about it. You're a kid, right? You're at a fucking store. You could either buy one single 22-ish, it's like 30 pages with ads and whatever, one 30-page comic book for $5. I'm not even exaggerating that price, right?
Yes.
One single issue, number 13 or something, right? No connection to nothing, right? Or $10, you buy a thick-ass manga with a bunch of stories in there. What would you rather buy? You know,
Yep.
And who does the manga have in there? They got Naruto, they got Goku, they got all these fucking guys that you know about from the anime you watch because of the synergy. So that's why. And here's what I find hilarious, right? Despite the fact that manga is beating the shit out of comics, not including Manny, obviously, a lot of these comic book guys their heads are in the fucking air. They're like, it's manga, whatever. Like, look at the fucking sales. They're destroying you.
Again,
you know?
like it comes from the comic industry not respecting what these guys are doing over there. They're able to put out these things like huge long these huge long stories, and all this time you get all of this content. That's the biggest issue. It's like you look at one, you get like a 20. Like here's the thing. I do a lot of color for the industry. I'm like, what can you do to bring the price of comics down to where it's at the point where it's so disposable that people would just buy it on a whim? You have to make a conscious decision to buy every single comic that exists right now.
It's too much.
And why do when people always do that one thing where they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna wait until the graphic novel. Now think about how many pages you get in a modern graphic novel. 6 issues worth of comic content compared to a manga, which is double that or triple that.
Again, it's usually 6 issues, 144 pages. At 144 pages, typically $25 versus $10 for like 300 pages. You know, so again, I could go off on this topic, man. But yeah, the comic book guys, they have their heads up their asses when it comes to manga's beating the shit out of them because again, they're giving people what they want, you know, and there's that synergy there, you know. But and here's the thing about comic books too. They go for the whale market. They cater to people that are just collectors. Like, oh, here we go. We got to put out 6. That's low. We got to put out 10 variants of a different cover because they know there's going to be at least a couple of guys who are going to buy all of them things. Oh, here's another crossover. Oh, here's another this. It's like all these fucking gimmicks. They're like, you guys haven't learned. Like you've been doing the same shit for 20 years. You haven't fucking learned.
The comic industry has antiquated thought of the way comics should be. You know, like we're still. I mean, I'm going to say this: the only place that, and not to mention the availability of comics, the only place that you can really buy an actual comic book is at a comic book store. Some towns don't have a fucking comic book store. So you're telling me you're literally relegating your product to a bunch of specialty stores.
Yeah. By the way, we should say a bunch of specialty stores that closed down during the Rona. Meanwhile, manga's fucking everywhere. You know.
Yes.
Manny, the way comics used to be everywhere.
Exactly. You can go to a Barnes and Noble. You can even go on go Amazon. You can get anywhere, but you can't get your monthly. So the whole industry was closed for most of the year last year. Yeah. I mean, granted, we were all pretty safe. We're getting to do our jobs and being able to make new content. But that's why DC made the decision to go with multiple distributors as opposed to just keeping it down to Diamond, who was closed.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else was still moving. They were still shipping, regular books, but comic books were a totally dead market last year.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. Not to get too controversial. Now I'm seeing comic book creators attacking manga, saying, "Oh, they're misogynistic. They're doing this." I'm like, listen, like maybe if you add it, I'll stop. But I'm like, these guys are doing what their audiences like. And now you're trying to just belittle them for things they've been doing. Like, come on, man.
To be honest, it's an industry of the pot calling the kettle black because the fucking comic industry was just as stupid as it was. Because again, all it is really exploitation. What are you giving people? Yes, you can tell a deeper story. Manga does it too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, look at what the popular manga is on the market. It's all fucking fighting manga, like the stupidest shit that you could possibly think of.
All right, let's settle down with that.
No, come on. At its core, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, and One Piece. What are those things? At their core, they're fighting things.
It's an adventure novel.
They're adventures, simple stuff. Now you telling me that you can't do that? We can't do that sort of stuff?
Apparently not.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. You always hear me. Simplicity is key. It's always usually the simplest things that people sort of jump onto, and then obviously once they get, their brains are open to that, they start to tend to go into different directions, more complicated. Then you have deeper stories. So I don't understand. I don't understand why other people in the comic industry decide to take pot shots at manga when they in themselves were also, a lot of them were also into manga at the time, and it wasn't exploitative or anything like that then, or did they think that then? I'm just going to say this. Look at what the other guys are doing. That's our competition. What can we do to capture that audience? Yeah. And what aren't we doing to capture? I'm not going to be able. Here's the thing: we're not going to be able to get Riku to read Spider-Man. That's not what you're looking for. But there are other audiences that we can go toward and look, and try to attract. And that means getting us out of the fucking comic book stores and onto shelves and everywhere. Go to we want it. How well. Remember DC made the decision to start putting those sort of collected versions of the DC books out into Targets and Walmarts, and those things did amazing. Yeah. Why did they do amazing? Because people always go to Walmart and Target to get things. So that's where we want to be there right by the at the grocery store when you're walking out to make that cheap purchase. Cheap $2 comic or less. Put it right there.
Yeah, that's it. All right, good topic there. But you can tell Manny and I are very passionate about that.
I mean, I work in the.
He works in the industry, and I'm a big comic book fan. So yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating to see all of that stuff.
And I'm a manga god.
Because I like both. I mean, I don't read a lot of manga, but I do read some. But I was there when it started to, me and Tony were there when it started sort of hitting in the United States.
That's right, yeah.
When they reprinted Akira again, and then Dark Horse got the rights to do the Blade of the Immortal, stuff like that. So I mean, and I'm reading, and I read Lone Wolf and Cub and Dororo and a bunch of stuff I've checked out, and I see from both sides of this. I love the comic industry. I love the superhero genre. But I also think that there's a lot we can learn from the Japanese industry. Look at the biggest anime and manga right now. My Hero Academia. What is that?
Yeah, superheroes.
It's superheroes. So they're proving that they can do fucking superhero shit, which is our thing, better than we can do fucking superhero shit. They literally did superhero high school.
One Punch Man.
It's the fucking X-Men.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, it is X-Men. Yeah, and One Punch Man, what is that? It's a superhero show.
It's a superhero story.
Yeah.
And you're saying we couldn't have come up with something like that? Or Tiger and Bunny, another superhero genre anime. Just saying.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Lots that they can learn there.
All right, man. Moving on to the last couple questions here. This one's deep.
Uh-oh.
What are the keys to a happy life? Damn. My man.
I mean, I think
Carlos,
happiness is...
Yeah, go ahead, Manny.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Carlos, you go first.
Go ahead, Carlos. Go.
I'll just make it as simple as possible. No, one of the biggest keys is not being comparative with other people, because sometimes a lot of people can misinform themselves of being happy, comparing their happiness to what someone else's happiness is. And when you do that, then there's just no way to overcome it. So
I feel like that, to add on to that, I feel like that's a problem with social media. It's a lot of fake happy that you see on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest catalyst, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, keys to happy life is pretty simple, right? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women,
I mean, I would say for the key to happiness is also just finding what really makes you happy. I mean, for each person, that can be a different thing. There's no specific answer that you can have toward happiness, What are the things that bring you, some people, it could just be doing a really good job at their job, right? Sometimes it could just be, the enjoyment of distractions, watching movies, reading manga, reading books. It could just be that. But you have to find that on your own, and nobody else can sort of, maybe some people can give you suggestions, but you really have to find your own way when it comes to your own happiness. And there are a lot of people that have, I think, a lot, especially for young people, they haven't found that yet. There's a lot of confusion as to their what really makes them happy. Is, posting on social media and all that stuff. That's like a crack, like a crack high, right? You get that little high,
a dopamine
because somebody
hit,
a dopamine hit, but that's not something that makes you happy. That's something that's just you tapping the vein until you get something out of it. That's not real. You got to sit down. You got to, maybe not sit down, but really sort of pull yourself away and really figure out those things that make you really happy, and not that fake happy.
Yeah. My real answer is, and I was going to say some of that, but you already did. Like, and this could be tough, right? Because you got to really dig deep for this one. You got to find the things in your life that are stressing you out and get rid of them. This may even include people, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you surround yourself with negativity, you're going to be negative all the time. So if you get rid of those factors, it could be a shitty job, it could be a crappy girlfriend, or maybe like saying, you know what, I know you're my brother, I'm not talking to you no more. Like, sometimes you have to cut some people off, some things off to really get rid of that, Like, I'm just going to keep it real right now. I'm 41. I look younger. Why? Because I don't stress about shit. I got rid of a lot of that stuff. And like Manny and Carlos said, a good chunk of that is like, don't compare yourself to other people, man. As a matter of fact, think about it like this, right? Okay, you are never going to be like X, Y, or Z or that person, but they're never going to be like you, So you got to just really focus on yourself, like, and obviously, because you can't say like, oh, like there is no like key to happiness, because it's different for everybody, right? But I think the things we've been saying are pretty general, right? You find something that you actually are passionate about, even if you have a crappy fucking job, right? If you can at least find something to latch onto after work or whatever, that's good, Stop comparing yourself to people. That shit is. Think about it like this, right? This motherfucker out there that could be like posting like the greatest happy life ever, he might be miserable as fuck. You don't know that, so why are you comparing yourself to him? Why are you? This is not a quote from me, but why are you comparing somebody's highlight reel to your blooper reel?
Yep.
You don't see their fucking bloopers.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it's a controlled narrative. A lot of that stuff, most of that stuff that you see on social media, those aren't a real person's a real person. The selfie they took in front of a street, they're not happy. Yeah, no, they're not.
And that's the other thing. It's like you gotta really find whatever it is that here's the thing. Let me see how do I put this right. Find something that drives you to be better. I know some people don't want that, but like, even if it's something small, like maybe something you're working on, like building a fucking toy model or something, that could give you enjoyment. Like little things like that could work, or even like, I want to do better at my job. I'm going to do this and that and get a promotion. I found that when you have a goal to work towards, that's a good thing. Everybody needs something. And I think that's where a lot of unhappiness comes from in the world. People are kind of listless now. They don't really have a direction, especially the youth, so they kind of feel depressed and shit. So if you can find something, anything to work towards, and maybe, again, this is a cliche thing, but it's like true. If you can find something that like makes you happy and you can make money off of it, you're really good, but not everybody has that. And then here's the thing. Some people are perfectly happy living a 9-to-5, having a regular family. That's good too. Not everything is going to work for everybody. There's no like, one size fits all. So you just got to just dig deep. And I will say, you want to try to be happy, stop trying to be so fucking negative. And I'm saying this as a person who could be negative as fuck, but because here's the thing, being negative is easy. It's super fucking easy. Trying to be happy, that's hard. That takes work, you know. But when you try to at least try to find the silver lining and shit, you're gonna find life's a lot better, you know. And you're gonna find that a lot of problems that you may be having, they're not that big, you know. Yo, you live in the fucking, I'm speaking to the Westerners right now. You live in the best fucking time, man. You know, think about it. We had a whole lockdown and almost everybody kept their jobs because you were able to work from home. We have this level of technology at our disposal, right? You live in the best time. You don't have to worry about poverty. You don't have to worry about fucking saber-tooth tigers eating you. You don't have to worry about none of that shit, you know? So why not use that time that you're afforded living in this kind of society to do something like that makes you better, you know, like that, and not only betters your life, but betters the lives of people around you, you know? I know that's something I'm very happy about. I could die tomorrow knowing for a fact I left this world better than I left, you know, that I left it better than when I came into it, because I made a lot of people happy with this podcast, with my posts, with all this shit, you know. If you can find something like that, you're good to go, you know. But everybody has to find their own way, and just don't dwell on that negativity, man. It's too much bullshit out there, you know.
There's a lot of that. I don't pay, you know. I don't know why. You know, for you somehow managed to see every single bit of negativity. But for me, I don't see it because I'm not looking for it. I just don't. Maybe it's because I don't automatically read things when I see it, but I just, you know.
Yeah. So I got to read this shit, man. You're gonna love this, all of you guys, man. He goes, things. This from Dumeke. Things like Throwdown give me joy as it's real talk at the end of my Monday and Friday. My man, you already know.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Rich, the keys to happiness.
Yeah, I think you three have said some really powerful, meaningful things already. The only point that I would add is that in addition to finding your purpose and your passion, I would say don't let your age prevent you from doing that.
Word.
Because I know a lot of people who they get to a certain age and they're like, well, I still haven't done this, so I'm probably never going to do it. And that's the wrong mindset to have.
I mean, I didn't feel that, but I was thinking about it at the time.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Especially reaching 40 years old last year. So it's like, you know, 20, it's been, you know, we're talking about, you know, 9/11 and all that stuff. That we were in our 20s back then, you know, 20 years later.
I'm glad you bring that up, Rich, because, you know, I had a epiphany moment with that shit, man. I remember when I turned 30, right? I was really upset about that. I was like, man, fucking hit 30, like, and I haven't done shit, you know? Like, it goes back to comparing, because I was thinking some dumb shit. I was like, man, Alexander the Great conquered the whole fucking world when he was 27. I haven't done nothing. It's like, yeah, but Alexander the Great ain't me, you know? But turned 40, I'm like, yo, I'm 40. I'm happy as a motherfucker right now. You know, I got a great career. I got friends and shit. I'm going everywhere. This is great. So think about that. With the difference 10 years making, I'm older. You figure, I'm older. I should be less happy. No, I'm happier now than I've ever been. You know, besides when I was a fucking kid that we talked about earlier. You know. Yeah. So yeah, you could do anything. Think about it. I started this shit, and I talked about this on my last Bright Life session. Because somebody in the chat older than me, he was like, "Am I too old to start this?" I'm like, no, fuck that. Get into it now, bro. I started doing this gaming shit, you know, game writing stuff when I was 30. Me and Manny and Adam and Chris on a blog. You know, 30, like, for a lot of guys, that's old already, you know, in this industry specifically. You know, a lot of people, like, specifically start out in their late teens or early 20s and shit. But I didn't worry about that. I'm like, no, this shit is fun, you know? So now I'm doing shit that, like, younger people could wish they could do, you know? So that shit don't matter, man, you know? And again, going back to what I was saying before, think about it, most people, if you look at them, they look younger than their age, man. It's not like back in the day, 40 looked ancient, you know? Because
look at Stan Lee at his 40s.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because life was harder back then. Life is relative, despite the Rona and all this shit, life is pretty safe in the West. You know, this is why we all look younger than we should, you know? So don't be stressing about age, man. Do your thing, you know? You could be 60, get into the shit if it makes you happy, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Great questions there. Great answers and all that. All right. We're reaching our end here. This is Chuko 2565. Who are your favorite artists from your top 3 genres? Very interesting. I think he means music genres or any genre.
Maybe we could say any genre.
I guess any genre because I'm like, yeah, I guess any genre, sure.
I mean, there's so many artists that I find inspirational. You know, like say like guys like Joe Mad and Todd McFarlane. You know, Jim Lee. These are comic guys. J.C. Leyendecker, amazing painter. Drew Struzan, the guy who made movie posters for films like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Star Wars. There's just so many, you know. Akira Toriyama, amazing work, you know. Otomo, the creator of Akira.
Yeah.
So it's so many different sort of things. I feel like sometimes what happens to a lot of people, especially when it comes to art, they have this sort of lockdown. Like I only like realistic looking art.
Yeah.
To me, it's all relative. It's all art, you know, and it's all inspiring. Musicians, I would say, like, it's interesting because I also there's two different types of, you know, like there's like guys like Paul Simon, right? I like his work, and he literally grew up down the street from where I lived in Queens. So I feel that sort of inspiration from that guy, because it's like he's a guy that came literally right from down the block of my neighborhood, you know, and it's like, and he became this world famous writer and musician.
It's up to you, Emilio Lopez.
Or what are you doing, Mrs. Robinson?
Jesus loves you more than you will know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. So yeah, you know, and then again, I got Iron Maiden, you know, the late Ronnie James Dio, just a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We'd be here all day.
Yeah, we could be. So yeah, let's see. For me, I'll just pick some stuff at random. So for music, yeah, I'm gonna go. I already, many of you said it, but I'll say it again. Ronnie James Dio, my favorite singer of all time. You know, very powerful music. For let's go with novels. I'm gonna go with Brandon Sanderson because I like his lectures. He's a good guy, you know. And for movies, I'm gonna go with my favorite director, James Cameron, because Alien and Terminator 2, man, you already know. All right, Carlos, you go next.
Lennon and McCartney for music. For movies, it's much harder. So I'll pick three: Stanley Kubrick, Steven Spielberg, and Christopher Nolan. I think those are my top three ever.
Nice.
And then for anime, Eiichiro Oda, who does One Piece. What's his name? Junji Ito. And Togashi. Togashi's one of them. Hunter x Hunter, Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Good stuff. Right, Rich, top artists from your top three genres.
You know, I forgot to do movies, but I'll go after him.
Oh man, this is tough with the it's so many different people. I want to start with music because I think I know what music is, and these picks might be a little shocking.
Controversial.
This is
controversial statements.
Rich, explain why are you picking ABBA?
Well, I like a lot of different music, so I'm going to keep this more in the R&B category for the moment, because I like a lot of different music. So, but I just want to say, because I grew up on a lot of this type of music, because every time I would get in a long car ride, my dad would keep playing this particular artist over and over again. Luther Vandross, number one.
Oh.
Number two.
Wanna stop.
Yep. That's exactly. Hey, I know all the words to every song. Yeah, definitely Luther. Number two, Marvin Gaye. And number three, Barry White.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Richard.
My pride and joy. Yo, Rich.
Yeah.
Yo, Rich. If you haven't listened to it, I think it's my favorite Marvin Gaye song, "Pride and Joy." I love that fucking song.
I need to hear that one. I haven't heard that one.
It's one of his early songs. It's like from the early '60s, like '63.
Okay.
Really good.
I need to check that out.
By the way, Rich, I need to come up with 2 more names for music because I only brought up one.
Go ahead.
So just to go in real quick, and these are really new names, and Rich is the only one that's gonna know them. But these artists inspire me right now, and that's Kendrick Lamar and Frank Ocean. I think those are my 2 favorite artists right now. Like Byron.
Yes. Very good. Very good. I agree.
Well, you don't put no John Legend, man. Gonna take it slow. Oh,
John Legend's good. I like All of Me. All of me.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Real quick. I don't know if I can count this as a genre. Is it okay for me to mention 3 comedians that I really enjoy?
Oh, yeah.
Those are artists. Those are artists, man. Yeah.
Man, those are artists.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'll allow it.
Specifically, Carlos will allow it.
Okay. All right, Carlos. That sounds good to me. Thank you, sir. Okay. Bernie Mac.
Oh, you already know.
Oh,
Yeah. Bernie Mac, man. I'm still sad about this guy, passing so quick when he did. Richard Pryor. I know he has some controversial things, but this guy is pretty funny, though.
Statements.
Yeah.
He definitely did.
And I have to say Dave Chappelle, because I really like what he's doing now with his podcast.
Yeah.
Very entertaining.
Podcast?
I gotta listen to this shit. I didn't know.
What?
He started a podcast with Mos Def and Talib Kweli.
Oh shit.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's called the Midnight Miracle, but it's on a paid service.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where you got to pay for it, but it's really good because they just talk about when he was on tour, different moments about different people he's come across. They talk about deep stuff on there too, but it's good. It's a really good show.
Nice.
See, I know who Mos Def and Talib Kweli are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we know the old school,
Well, they kind of predate that that stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good stuff. Yuzo Koshiro game music. Hell fucking yeah. Sega all day. All right, last 2 questions. Who is this? Eurocar?
Who that?
Who him? All right, his first question is, what type of YouTube videos do you watch the most?
Ooh, it's funny. Being I'm into toys, I watch a couple of toy reviewers. There's a channel called The Fwoosh. He does like reviews and stuff like that. It's hosted by this guy named his online name is Robo. He does all kinds of he tells you about the articulation of the figure and all that stuff and comparing them with the other ones. This other one that I watch, and I only started watching this really recently, maybe early last year, but it's about this. It's this guy who essentially makes this guy from Australia who makes dioramas. Like he makes these little dioramas of he'll make it looks like a river or it looks like a building or something like that, and it's really well done stuff. And the videos are actually put together really nicely. Like he does great narration on it, shows you the process of doing it. It's actually really cool. And then I would also say Tested. I like watching I like watching their stuff in the last maybe 5-7 years they've sort of gotten into sort of movie behind the scenes stuff because Adam Savage is a former ILM special effects guy. That's the Mythbusters guy, if you don't know. Yeah. And he'll do like these really great featurettes like with a bunch of different companies. Like he'll go right now he's doing the new Ghostbusters Afterlife. So he did all this footage, checking out the Ecto 1 that they're going to be using in it and talking about the engine, or a while ago he did stuff for with Battle Angel, talking, to Robert Rodriguez and all that stuff. And they do a lot of I've always loved seeing behind the scenes, stuff for, seeing how they make the props and doing the effects and all that stuff. So it's a lot of really cool stuff from those guys. So
nice. For me, I like to watch a lot of like science stuff. I like Star Talk, Neil deGrasse Tyson show. There's a lot of good stuff there, and there's also been like so many like different kind of science conferences and shit. So I always watch stuff from like Brian Greene or whatever, or like Neil deGrasse Tyson also hosts like the Isaac Asimov Awards. I like seeing like it's like 10 scientists in one room just debating for like 2 hours about a specific topic. Really awesome shit. Like about everything. Really fun stuff there. Earlier this year I was on a big kick with quantum physics, so I was just watching a bunch of this shit. I still don't understand it too much, but most scientists don't, so that's okay. So I watch a lot of that. I like watching history, specifically ancient history. Like shit that happened in the BCs. I like watching that just to see how civilization came up. To see how brutal life was and shit. And I got into it's called the Bronze Age collapse, because there's a lot of parallels to modern life. Think about it like this, right? The Bronze Age in the Mediterranean specifically, you had these 7 giant empires that were all interconnected. The thing that kept them together was bronze. When the bronze production went down, everything crashed. Doesn't that sound familiar? So when that happens with us with oil, shit's gonna get fucked up. So I like watching that. I like
if it hasn't already.
And here's the funny thing: I don't watch a lot of gaming stuff, but when I do, it's retro stuff. Like lately, I've been on a big kick. My favorite YouTuber is Sega Lord X. All he does is Sega videos all day, every day. The Master System, everything. His favorite console of all time, the Saturn. So he does a lot of videos there. So I've been watching that, and I just found this new channel. He's more recent YouTuber, I would say, but he did a lot of retrospectives on Final Fantasy and stuff. So I've been watching that. So because I'm like, why am I going to watch a modern day podcast? I do that shit. Or reviews. I'm like, I review games. I don't need to watch that stuff, but I like the retro stuff. And I also like writing videos, a bunch of like novelists teaching you how to, the trade and all that. I like watching that. I love Brandon Sanderson. That dude's like one of my other favorite YouTubers. I don't know where that dude finds the fucking time and energy. It's like this guy, he's writing like 2,000 page books per year. He has a YouTube channel. He's going on tour. It's like crazy, so that's mostly the stuff I watch. What about you, Carlos?
By the way, great question.
Yeah,
I like Tony. I like to watch a lot of history stuff. The more recently, I've been watching a lot of more sort of AD kind of stuff. Man,
that's the new school.
The new school, Napoleon, conquering all the stuff that he did to go from a small island in between France and Italy. It was Cyprus, I think, and becoming the emperor of France, and how he was really beyond his years when it came to like, military acumen.
Napoleon is one of the greatest fucking strategists in history, man. He really is. People like to make fun of him and shit, but it's like, dude, this guy was a fucking genius.
Yeah, but he also showed he let everyone know what the biggest mistake is in when it comes to trying to conquer the world, and that's invading Russia. But other leaders never learned from that. So
who'd have thought? You just need to wait long enough for Russia to fall apart on its own.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, another thing that Napoleon did that was smart. He didn't invade Afghanistan. Everybody fails there.
Yeah, including the Russians.
Yeah.
But history videos. I love watching history videos. Stuff about the American Revolution, the Civil War. World War I and World War II, all that stuff.
Pretty much
like
the History Channel.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and like I mentioned, the Napoleonic Wars were pretty cool. But the thing that I watched the most is Bob Ross videos.
Oh, really?
So you're catching up on some Bob Ross?
Well, I like to put them at night before I go to sleep.
Oh shit!
They help me go to sleep.
That's
Does
funny.
have a soothing voice.
By the way, Carlos, the reason I don't watch a lot of like World War II and even Napoleon stuff is like, yo, the History Channel,
been overdone.
they showed that shit. you
Yeah.
know, they went ham with that, and I used to watch all of it too back in the day. You know,
I do watch some ancient civilization stuff. Like I mentioned earlier about the whole Olmec stuff.
yeah,
Ancient Rome. The ancient Greece. I mean, ancient Greece and ancient Egypt. Like those were pretty cool civilizations to look into. So that, and also science videos I do watch from occasion. I used to watch it more back in the day. Neil deGrasse Tyson and all of them. Michio Kaku.
yeah, my dude right there. You know,
That's like
New York is.
those are the go-to guys.
Yeah,
Yep. Oh, they're all New Yorkers too. Pretty interesting just seeing how the universe works.
exactly. All right, Rich. What about you? What's your favorite content to consume on the YouTubes?
Well, yeah, I also like watching a lot of the history stuff, similar to the things that you guys mentioned. But lately, especially last year, I decided that I was going to seek out some content to just make me laugh and get some entertainment. So I've actually been watching a lot of these so-called dating experts try to tell people what they're doing wrong in their relationships. And one guy in particular, this very controversial person named Kevin Samuels.
Oh,
Is that the guy who did that one book? Was it The Art of the Something? I can't remember the name of it. It was like Oh, go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead, Rich.
I'm actually not sure if he's done a book. I know that this is the guy that has created terms such as high value man and all this other stuff.
Okay.
And he basically, because he's an image consultant, but he acts as a dating expert. And then he'll have women calling into his show, men also, and he will just flat out go in on them on the actual podcast, like on the actual live stream. One in particular I thought was hilarious, where a woman calls in. He asks, "How tall are you?" "Oh, I'm 5'5". "Okay, how much do you weigh?" "I weigh 170". He says, "You almost weigh as much as a linebacker." So you're not going to find a guy because but I will say this: some of the people that call in there are a little delusional in terms of their expectations. Like they can weigh over 200 pounds and they think they're going to get, like they think they're a 10 and they're going to get the perfect mate that's going to do everything for them, and they don't think about the fact that there are others that may be more attractive to that person. So I've just been watching this stuff only for entertainment value, to laugh at some stuff that's said. Some stuff that is said is true, but other stuff is just like, yeah, this is probably a little off base with some of the stuff that's being said, but it is good for entertainment. So, and I know that our very good friend Riku watches this. Gary Swaby also watches this guy as well as others that we've spoken about in that chat.
Logic Wins watches him as well. He just said in the chat.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's awesome, man. All right, good stuff. All right, the final question of the night.
Final question.
Oh boy! By the way, Rich, thank you for holding out with us 3 hours. By the way, 4 dudes, 3 hours, man. Throw down. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's awesome, man. All right, what are 2 fun facts about yourself that most viewers don't know? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I'll say one. I don't even know if the people in my Throwdown panel know.
Uh-oh.
Oh, damn. I was going to make a joke. Oh, you were in the band?
You're the son of Tito Puente? What?
I wasn't the son of Tito Puente. Yeah, I was in a band.
What'd you play?
Late teen. I was a vocalist.
Oh, shit.
The lead singer.
That makes sense. I can see that.
Yep. We did a lot of covers. We played, we did a lot of kind of garage kind of playing. Like we like all we did was just hang out in garages and just, jam out. But yeah, it was like a year of my life.
Oh shit.
My late teens.
Oh, time to bring the band together. Tony still plays
That's it.
guitar.
Yeah,
I can still play drums.
There you
Let's
go,
do it.
man. Mike could play bass. Let's go.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know if they can still sing, but
Yeah. See, this is a tough one because I say most of my shit on air. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, yeah, I used to be in a band. Well, actually, there's one thing, but I can't say that on air yet. You know what I'm saying? There's something I'm working on behind the scenes. You know, your boy.
Okay.
But no, I don't really have it because I say everything. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess like, I kind of think disco is fun. I guess that's a fun fact.
oh hell
about me.
yeah!
Like disco's fun as fuck. You know, like
Yo.
like you hear that music, man. You either want to fight or fuck. You know.
Or dance.
Yeah, or
Diana
dance. Yeah.
Ross.
So yeah, I'll say. I guess that's a fun fact. I like disco. I don't listen to it. Like I'm not gonna go out of my way, but like I'm like, yeah, I like that funk. Like I guess funk. I like that. You know, boom, 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 boom. You know, that shit's cool.
No, I mean, I mean, those guys are crazy ass talented.
Yeah, man.
Fucking
Slapping that bass.
I mean, come on, Earth, Wind, and Fire is amazing.
Yeah.
Love Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah. And again, like I guess I say most of this shit on air. Yeah, I watch science videos. There you go. I like fucking quantum physics and theoretical shit. You know. But again, I say most of this stuff, so it's like you guys already heard this shit. You know.
Last dance.
I guess you would say I'm an open book. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you've never been the type to sort of keep anything, away. You sort of tell.
Yeah, why not?
things
You
about
know.
yourself.
By the way, that other thing that I said I'm not going to talk about, I will talk about it in the future. Just saying. So again, even that's not going to be kept a secret. You know. Because the thing is, like, my thing is, I don't understand people who feel reluctant to share the things they like. I'm like, I'm not ashamed to, like we talk about this before. People were asked like, "What's your guilty pleasure?" I don't have a guilty pleasure. I don't feel guilty about nothing I like. You know. Anyway, go on, Manny.
I don't know. I don't know how much things people don't know about me. I mean, at least from what I say.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I can tell you something. I can tell you Adam stuff. Like, I mean, I can tell you.
Let's go.
I mean, for those of you who don't know, Adam was actually a musician at the time, and he used to do clubs. He used to do. He's like a DJ, or he used to make his own music. So he played shows and stuff like that. In fact, he had an album that he put out years ago I think it's under Judas Thornhill. He used to have a pseudonym, and that's I think it's called Into the Void. In fact, if you go back to our classic Throwdowns, at least the first episode of the one I hosted before we had our wonderful little Throwdown song, we actually used Adam's music for the first episode that I was hosting, because I felt like we needed a little something to sort of one of the there's some agendas that I have, at least for the show, had for the show. One of them is having a theme song to sort of give people something to listen to before we start, having a website, certain things. So that was one of the things when I did one at the time, and I'm like, we don't got anything. And I talked to Rachel, who was our producer, rest in peace. And we're like, we don't have anything at the time. Do you know anybody that might be able to do the music? So we got, what was his name again? I'm totally blanking on it.
Oh God,
Adam Bale.
I'll tell you right now. Hold on.
He's got to look it up.
No, Sean Daly.
Yeah, Sean. Yeah, we had, she hooked up with Sean Daly and got us. We got us.
I was going to say Sean Murphy. I'm like, no, that's not.
No, that's the comic artist. But yeah, Adam still does music, and if you listened for a while, the WrestleCast, he did the song for the WrestleCast, and he also did the one for the I Am Negan podcast. So, and if you ever watch any of my drawing streams, he also did the music for that as well.
Nice. All right, Rich, any fun facts about you? 2 fun facts.
Okay. I've never spoken about this. When I was in high school, I was part of a chess club.
Carlos?
Excuse me?
Yeah. I was pretty good back then. I haven't really played chess for a little while now. So I may require getting back used to a few things. But yeah, I used to be really good at chess. And a lot of the games, like there's a couple of chess games that I did pick up and play on the consoles also. But yeah, I do enjoy playing chess. It's a fun game. I just haven't really had a chance to play it as much recently, anyway. Another
Play
thing.
one day, Rich.
We'll say what?
We gotta play one day.
Yeah, but let me try to practice again, get my skills up to par before because I don't want to be getting embarrassed by you.
Carlos plays chess every day, man. You know.
Oh, every day. Oh, whoa.
Well,
Okay,
not yet.
He plays that shit more than video games, man. It's crazy.
Oh,
and we have video evidence of this. You know.
Yeah. Okay. One other thing I've spoken about in the past. I haven't really alluded to it as much. I talk about what I did previously, what I went to school for, which is film, animation, and video. One thing I don't think I did speak about, though, is that I also studied illustration.
Oh, shit.
And I've actually done some comics. There's a comic book class that there's actually 2 comic classes I took my final year at RISD. One of them was taught by David Mazzucchelli, if that name sounds familiar.
That was one of Manny's teachers.
Yeah, I actually had David as a storytelling teacher. Yep.
Oh, see, awesome.
So what year was that you went?
This was I was class of 2000. I want to say no, 2004.
I'm gonna say this. David is nuts for one reason. That dude was driving from that school to New York to teach 2 different classes, and he did that for a while. So yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Rich, this is when you were in Boston, right?
Well, no, the school. Well, yeah, I'm from Boston, but I actually went to RISD in Providence.
Okay.
Yeah, Rhode Island.
Yeah, Rhode Island.
Yeah, Rhode Island. So yeah, he did.
That dude was literally making that trip because I don't exactly know where David lives, and he might be New York, might be over there, but I know he was driving from both places to do teaching gigs. So yeah.
Yeah. See, that's a small world.
Yeah, that's definitely a fun fact.
Yeah, for those, yeah, like I kind of went over what Richard said, but yeah, David Mazzucchelli did Batman Year One, Daredevil Born Again,
but which was the basis for Daredevil season 3, by the way.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So yeah, David Mazzucchelli. I remember this one time we're at Comic-Con. Manny introduced me to him, but I didn't know it was David Mazzucchelli, right? So I'm just fucking around with him, having a good time. The dude was cool. We hit it off, you know. And then he left, and Manny was like, "Yeah, David Mazzucchelli." I'm like, "That was David Mazzucchelli." And then I realized, like, if I would have known it was him, I would have acted completely different, you know? Because I'm like, this dude is a fucking god, you know? And it's funny about this dude. He did 2 fucking comics he's set for life.
Yeah, the great thing about him is, at least back at the time when comics were doing amazing, you know, he was able to step away from the industry and literally do his own thing. I mean, I'm sure he talked about it in your class.
Oh yeah. You're 100% right about that. He did talk about some of that stuff. I could tell he was always busy, like you said. It makes sense now why we're going between all these different classes. Because he had a crazy schedule, and then at one point, we then had another teacher by the name of Paul Karasik. That's how you say the last name. This guy was another teacher that filled in for him. But the point I was going to make real quick is that, I did this my senior year of college. That was like one of the classes that a lot of the teachers would say, yeah, you're really good at this stuff. You should consider doing this stuff. And I actually have been dabbling in some stuff behind the scenes. I'm not yet ready to talk about when it's coming, but I am working on something.
Oh, my man.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I definitely inspired by all the work that you guys are doing. I know there's some projects that some people are working on in the circle that we can't talk about yet, but stuff that what Gary has done as well, like seeing everybody having success doing their own stuff. I definitely was inspired by that. So I am working on something, but I can't talk about when the due date is, but I'll just say, yeah, you'll see some stuff from me in the future for sure.
Nice
stuff.
Yeah. By the way, again, like I said, like everybody knows my fun facts. That's another one I used to draw back in the day. You know.
Yep.
By the way, shout out to Barry Burton for
yeah.
gifting subs.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
And by the way, we will answer your question, which was also related to subs. You know. All right, good stuff, man. So yeah, let's get into it, man. Let me set up the last question here. This is going to be interesting.
Okay.
Give me a sec here, because my answer may disappoint people, but it's true. No, I don't like pineapple pizza. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Pineapple's garbage. I hate pineapple.
Yeah, pineapple's again. Me and Manny been traumatized. We're Caribbeans, man. Our fucking families are cheap, so they always just buy us those cheap ass pineapple cakes for our birthday. Hated them fucking things, man. Mm-hmm. All right, last question of the night. Do you prefer hoagies or subs?
Those are the same fucking thing.
I was about to say, like, dude, I like sandwiches, bro. I like sandwiches.
So, I mean, hoagies are. The colloquial that comes from fucking Philly.
Yeah,
they call it that. They call the subs over here that. I mean, we usually just say sandwiches.
Yeah, it's just sandwiches. So
I never said fucking sub or hoagie.
Actually, you know what I call them? Yeah, you know what I call them? I just call them heroes. You know.
Yeah, or hero. Yeah. Hero. I never said sub though.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Barry Byrne for all the. What'd you do? He gifted tier 1 subs to Logic Wins and Blitz and Piggy Dan.
Piggy Dan.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I call them heroes, bro. You know.
I'm from Texas. Hoagies does not exist in my vernacular.
Yeah, to be honest,
exactly.
I've never. Yeah, we don't use that shit. You know, that sounds like a pig or something. You know, come on, little hoagie. You know, like I don't know.
You hoags.
Subgator, Barry Bird, man, you making it rain right now. Hey, episode 350, man, we got to go win. You know, amen. Let's go. But yeah, that is actually the end of our show. So I want to thank first of all, you guys in the chat right now who hung in there for 3.5 hours. You motherfuckers are crazy. You're crazier than us.
Shout out to you guys.
You know, so shout out to you. And Rich, I really want to thank you for not only for coming on last minute, but for doing this marathon session with us, man.
Oh yeah, no, this is a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's so much fun. You're about
sounds
to
like
pass
you're eating a
out.
hoagie.
No. I was stretching.
Yeah, there you go, man. So, Rich, man, please plug yourself. Where can people find you, the coalition, all that?
You can find me on Twitter. My handle is Rich Bailey Jr. The coalition. I know we actually just recorded a I Am Negan episode earlier today. Definitely check that out. Because the season's getting pretty good. So yeah, definitely make sure you check that out. I also recorded a Power episode this weekend with Gary and Dana. So if you're into Power, definitely check out the podcast. As for this upcoming week, there is a ton of games dropping this week, and from what I understand, we're going to have a lot of reviews, but I can't say what some of these games are. I'm just saying that it's busy season right now. So definitely stay tuned to the website. You're going to see a ton of content all week long, for sure.
That's what's up. Carlos, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, like Rich mentioned, go to thecoalition.com, coalition with a K. Today, we recorded the newest episode for AMC Plus. For The Walking Dead on our podcast called I Am Negan, where we reviewed the latest episode, which was episode 4, Rendition. It's called Rendition. A lot of interesting things happened. No nukes that episode, but it was pretty close. Things are picking up. Our boy Daryl, man, going in. I really enjoyed this episode. It's one of the best ones of the season so far. It's hosted by our own Adam Vale, and me and Richard Bailey Jr. are part of the podcast as well. So make sure to tune in. I Am Negan everywhere, Spotify, everywhere you listen to podcasts, and or on the Coalition YouTube channel or thecoalition.com. Make sure to let us know what you think if you're watching The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Yo, by the way, real quick, I gotta give a shout out to my man Armando in the chat right now. Chancleta Mangu, you know. I was chatting with him on Twitter, right, real quick, because I think he's getting some spicy nuggets from from fucking Wendy's or something, and he's like, "Yo, Tony, you burned the midnight oil." I'm like, "I'm still doing the podcast, brother." So he jumped in. He's like, "Oh, you weren't kidding."
Oh man, there's a reason why we split off the throw down your questions into its own show, because if we would have done this part of normal throwdown,
yeah.
You're gonna have 4-hour, 5-hour podcast.
I still find it hilarious. I'm like, I limited the AMA questions to 2, like a regular show, like to just cut it down to so we would be 3 hours with 3.5 hours with 4 motherfuckers. Like you figured this episode would have been an hour long, you know? That shit is great. Yo, well, you guys asked us some fucking amazing questions, man. So shout out to everybody. You know, Manny, do you have anything new to plug?
No, not right now. I mean, just working on projects and stuff. I can announce. I mean, granted, if you're picking up the new Aquaman comics, me and Kari are doing all the covers for all of those. We're coming to a close on that. We just finished our last cover for Static, the Static Season 1, as they're calling it. So we got all those all in. So you guys can check those out, and then obviously got a lot of other stuff coming up, and so stay tuned.
There you go, man. Yo, Armando, man, we'll hang out soon, bro. This was not the weekend to go to the city. There's shit is still fucked up in the trains, you know. Plus your boy, during Labor Day, I'm laboring, got a lot of projects. So stay tuned to PC Mag. I will have a lot of things posted this week. Things I can't talk about at the moment, but. Yeah, you already know, man. That's in our industry, we got to keep everything hush hush, you know. So yeah, that's gonna do it for us people. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter, and join the Discord where it is always popping. You can find us on any man. You can find us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. There's 2 words, Throwdown Show, and you can visit throwdownshow.com to listen to previous episodes. And if you're watching us on YouTube and you enjoyed this content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of any videos that go up. And yeah, links to everything down below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Carlos Romero. And Richard Bailey Jr.
See you later, everybody.
All right, people. Thursday, you already know. Later.
Peace.
Also, shout out to Sony. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Sony. All right, people. Peace.